cares? They're through. Chris, big Arsenal fan, good morning. Do you care?
Not really, no, Jim.
I didn't think you would, mate. What's your honest thought on this? Because so many critics are having a swipe at you.
To be honest, looking back, if that was Fergie or Mourinho back in the day, going away, clean sheet, get the win, come back, clean sheet, go through. Move on.
Yeah. So what do you think is driving this narrative of Arsenal? It's the way they're doing it, though. It's the way they're doing it.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 10:01, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Chelsea's co-owner Gabby Agbonlahor admits getting rid of Enzo Maresca was not a change they wanted to make, and it's had a bit of a negative impact on the season. Former midfielder Jody Morris can't see Chelsea making the Champions League.
We used to be under Maresca. I felt we was better against the better teams. It was the lesser teams that we couldn't break down that was a bit of a problem. Now we've managed to get by them, and then we keep falling short of anybody that's decent.
At a conference in LA, Agbali said, "I think we're behind Liam Rosenior." Ahead of Sunday, Arsenal invincible Laurent has told us all the pressure is on second-place Man City. He's urging Mikel Arteta to go all out for 3 points and play Gyökeres up top alongside Martinelli and 16-year-old Max Dowman.
It's a big responsibility for a young lad, but I believe that he's got the quality enough in order to take on play. Once Martinelli is high up on the pitch and stretching the team, he will put Max Dowman a little bit more central.
Just before Arsenal's trip to the Etihad on Sunday afternoon, Liverpool make their first visit to Hill Dickinson for the Merseyside derby. Arne Slot's devastated to lose Ugo Ekitike for the rest of the season with that Achilles injury, and says Alexander Isak's still not fit enough to play 90 minutes. And Coventry could seal promotion tonight. Former midfielder George Boateng's told us Frank Lampard might go from Cov hero to Cov legend if he stays in the job.
Somebody who has served the club for many years, brought them to the Premier League and stayed with them and get a respectable finish in the Premier League.
Cov will go up if they avoid defeat at Blackburn, live on talkSPORT 2 tonight.
talkSPORT News.
Sir Keir Starmer's apparently furious the Foreign Office overruled the vetting process for Lord Peter Mandelson. And would a new music fan association be the solution to rip-off ticket resale sites? Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Spring forwards with Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Rain in the northwest, gradually spreading eastwards today ahead of the rain. Mostly dry, bright and warm, blustery showers to follow.
Hey, very good morning to you. You're listening to Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and the former Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT this morning. So it is a full English in the Europa League semi-finals as Forest set up a last four showdown with Aston Villa. With Premier League priorities still very much on the line, how much stock can the clubs afford to put in a trophy run? Meanwhile, Chelsea boss Liam Rosenior has received a vote of confidence of sorts from co-owner Gabby Agbonlahor ahead of a big game against Man United tomorrow, live on talkSPORT. Is it obvious as to why we're hearing from him now, amidst the backdrop of protests and open letters to the board? And also today, how important is momentum in a derby? Can emotion to inspire really backfire? And we look ahead to the big one on Sunday. Will the Manchester City versus Arsenal potential title decider be worthy of the hype? You're listening to Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're live on talkSPORT. Very good morning to you. How are you? Welcome along to Fun Boy Friday on talkSPORT, where normal service has finally resumed. Alex Crook's been temporarily squatting at Gabby Agbonlahor's house overnight. I've arrived fresh-faced from Florence in the last few moments, like a last man rushing into the dressing room just before kickoff. And just like that, the Friday mischief makers are back together again.
Can I just say something? Can you give Crookie credit for the opener?
The
first couple of lines, because he thought long about those couple of lines.
It was quite a lot of waffle, to be honest with you, on that. Did you write that yourself?
I wrote the full English line, which was the headline.
Yeah.
The ref wrote the rest of it.
Did you?
You took his headline off him, Sam.
Wow.
He didn't quote him. He doesn't like that.
Sorry. Did he behave well, by the way?
He was very well behaved, manners, lovely guest.
Did you make him feel at home?
I did indeed. When we got there, didn't I give you a nice bottle of water?
You did.
Chilled, not room temperature.
Did you?
Coffee this morning?
Did you give him a cuddle? He likes a cuddle.
When I went in this morning at 6:15, he was cuddling the pillow.
Oh right, okay.
Legs hanging off the bed. It was a sight that maybe I'll struggle to get out of my head.
So the reason
that Mrs. Agbonlahor stayed in bed.
The reason that you two stayed together last night is because you were doing Aston Villa.
Because I'm a company man. I like to save the company money.
Yeah, he did send me a message just before he went to bed last night, though. He couldn't find the light switch.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you not, Crookie? It's by the door.
It's made that.
Just like that, 4 English teams are through to the
I didn't see your trophy cabinet, by
semi-finals.
the way. No.
You see my player of the month?
No.
You see it? It's in the middle of the house. Sorry. Come on, Crookie.
Let's talk about proper trophies. The Europa League final and the Conference League final certainly look like they're shaping up nicely. We're definitely going to have one team from the Premier League in the final of the Europa League. Villa and Palace largely cruised through last night. Nottingham Forest got the job done thanks to another Morgan Gibbs-White deflected effort, proving again that if you shoot, anything can happen. We will have at least one team in the Europa League final, and no disrespect to Freiburg or Braga, but one of those two in the Europa League should sort out the job, shouldn't they?
You'd have thought so. I would argue Forest's task against Porto was much tougher than what Villa had to face, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and Villa did that with ease last night. Ollie Watkins reaching Villa's 100 club, joining Villa's 100 club. Morgan Rogers, a goal and an assist. I think I'm right in saying his first goal at Villa Park since January. So big players hitting form at the right time. And having had a bit of a wobble when this man was saying they weren't going to make the Champions League, I think they've got their mojo back at the perfect moment. John McGinn and Tielemans returning from injury, I think it's been a huge boost. And yeah, good win for Forest as well. And obviously they're delicately balancing trying to stay in the Premier League with their European aspirations.
Palace have Shakhtar Donetsk in the semi-final. Then if they progress, Strasbourg or Rayo Vallecano. The clean sweep doesn't look so fanciful now, does it, Gabby?
Listen, last night, Crookie will tell you, it was so comfortable for Aston Villa, Sam. I was watching with some friends last night, and I just said, get the first goal. Once Aston Villa got that first goal, they were in cruise control. Happy for Ollie Watkins to be in a 100 club for Aston Villa. Happy for Morgan Rogers to score as well after that penalty miss, because that could have had his confidence down. But every fan was saying the same, Sam. I want to play Porto. Don't want to play Forest. Because the Premier League teams know each other, don't they? It's going to be a tight game and a tough game against Forest. You'd rather have had Porto.
First goal was like a work of art, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what if that was Manchester City
PSG,
or Liverpool or PSG, we'd walk in today and they'd be on every screen at News UK. But Aston Villa,
it did help that Bologna can't defend over the 2 games.
Really?
Defensively, they were all over.
Was their unbeaten record at home in the Europa League?
They were terrible defensively over the 2 legs.
Watkinson's taken another Aston Villa record. He's now their top scorer in Europe, as well as nicking Gabby's only record that he's managed to pick up. 66 man to reach 100 goals for the club. Afterwards, he was saying that he was targeting a place in Thomas Tuchel's squad. And actually, the interview is really interesting because what he said is that he's got to keep scoring goals in order to get in there. Did you think that was sort of an indication as what Thomas Tuchel had told him previously?
I think so. I think the manager's probably said to him, your form hasn't been good enough to get into this squad. I'm going to have a look at Solanke, Calvert-Lewin, but if you get back to the Ollie Watkins from the start of the season, when you went through that patch of scoring goals, you're studying my plans, and you've seen the difference. Everyone has seen a difference in Ollie Watkins since he got left out of the squad. Scoring goals, looking sharp, working hard, pressing, making the right runs. Sometimes you just need that little, kick up the backside to go and perform to levels you can do. And if it continues like this, it's great news for Aston Villa. And also, it's great news for England as well because you want him on that plane.
Great start for Nottingham Forest. Bednarek was sent off for a terrible challenge on Chris Wood, and I do hope Chris Wood is okay because he only lasted 16 minutes of that game last night. Morgan Gibbs-White then scored pretty soon afterwards. Porto did have a couple of big chances in the game, hit the bar through William Gomez and Alan Varela in the second half of the game. Can you see a scenario here where maybe Nottingham Forest end up playing Champions League football next season and Championship football? Or did last night actually prove they've got enough about them to avoid such issues?
I think it's a stretch because I don't think they'll go down. I've been quite strong for a few weeks now that Tottenham are in big danger. And actually, we'll talk about the relegation fight. If results don't go their way, they could well be cut adrift this weekend. So I think Forest have got enough to stay up. In terms of the Europa League, I would make Villa favourites over the two legs, mainly because Forest have still got to really field as strong a team as possible in the Premier League, and he has been rotating in the Europa League. But I just think Villa are a better team. If you put their first 11 up against Forest, Villa will win.
Evangelos Marinakis has been involved in a bit of chaos this season, hasn't he? I mean, he wanted to build on their 7th place finish after the end of last season when they missed out on the Champions League on the final day. 4 managers later, does he get credit for actually getting them back on track now, or is it a mess all of his own making?
Yeah, I think it's hard to give him any pat on the back because of the carnage that you've seen this season. I mean, sacking managers left, right and centre. I don't think Sean Dyche should have lost his job. I thought he was doing a decent job. He would have kept Nottingham Forest up. But I think, Sam, if you look at the table, if Forest can get 2 wins out the next 2 games, on the weekend they play Burnley, they'll be on 39 points. Those 2 games will be before they play Aston Villa in the semi-final. They could already be safe. They can play their strongest team in the semi-final. And there's every chance that Nottingham Forest are looking at this and saying, a terrible season could turn out to be an unbelievable season, winning a European Cup and playing Champions League football next season.
It's a brilliant story, however it pans out, isn't it? Because you've got 2 former European champions. You've got a team in Aston Villa who've not won a major trophy since 1996, which is too long for a club of their stature. And obviously Forest have got incredible European history going back to the Brian Clough days. So it's an absolutely brilliant semi-final.
Absolutely. A first semi-final in Europe since 1984 for Nottingham Forest. Morning, chaps. Hope you're well. Amazing night for the Villa last night. Just checking in on Gabby and seeing how his phone is this morning. I seen him get dropped off outside the McGregor suite last night. Gave him the oi, oi, Gabby, and he dropped his phone straight onto the floor. Just hoping no damage to the phone. Gabby is our hero. Up the Villa. Oh, it does look quite damaged.
Will he pay for my phone to be fixed? Because he caught me off guard there. I was like, who's that? Dropped my phone.
As Matt and James, the Villa fans, feeling slightly worse for wear this morning. Forest and Villa, 2 proper old school English clubs with European heritage, will be a semi-final for the ages. Can't wait, says Matt in Nottingham. 03717 223344. Let's get your reaction to last night's football. Can Nottingham Forest sustain this form after playing well last night and getting over the line against Porto? Aston Villa beating Bologna quite handsomely over 2 legs. And Crystal Palace, who we'll talk about next. By the way, you look slightly irritated this morning, Crook. Is everything okay? You were trying to play a practical joke on me. You didn't think I was going to be here on time, did you? So you were going to try and sit me in a different position. And you're a little bit grumpy about the fact that I turned up.
We were going to put you. We were going to put you in the 3rd chair. The ref was on board. He was going to tell you when you got here it's not good enough. If you can't be here for the start of the show, you can't host it.
Sam, normally
ruined our fun.
Normally everyone's
all the way from Florence just to get here on time.
Normally everyone's happy when people make it on time, but we were devastated you made it on time, mate. I'm hoping you're sitting in the third seat along. Listening to Crookie, tell you what to do.
I take it you didn't have time to do your hair. That's where you got a baseball cap.
037.
It's rude to wear a hat indoors.
03717 223344. That's the number to call if you want to get in touch. It's Talk Sport this morning. We got Gabby Agbonlahor here, Alex Crook, me, Sam Matterface. We're here through till 1.
bring Klopp in for 12 months, let Klopp be the manager, and let Gerrard shadow him for 12 months. Let him learn from him.
What are you on about?
And then let Gerrard bring in his own team, because every Liverpool fan in the country, and I know they're listening to this now, would love Gerrard and Carragher on that touchline at some point.
Bobby, what are you on about?
You don't think it's happening?
It's extreme, but...
What do you mean it's extreme? Jurgen Klopp's not coming to Liverpool for 12 months to teach Steven Gerrard how to be the Liverpool manager. What are you on about?
That's not happening, Bob. It's not.
What do you mean, why not?
I think...
What do you mean, why not?
Things that have happened in football...
Do you think this is charity?
In football. No, but I think there's worse things that have happened in football.
Jurgen Klopp is not taking over Liverpool.
No, you ain't doing it.
No, I'm not saying on a permanent basis. I'm saying if he was shadowed.
Bobby.
Don't let Bob talk. Bob,
no, but Bob, we speak to you quite a lot, right? And you normally come out with some decent stuff, but that is absolute guff.
I don't think it is.
No, it is, mate. You're miles off it. You're miles off it. Jurgen Klopp's not going to turn up at Liverpool, come back for 12 months to shadow Steven Gerrard. What do you think this is?
No, worse things have happened in football. Well, that's what they'd be doing if they brought Alonso in, if they wanted to bring Steven in as his number 2. I just think the club have got to be bold. You know, they've been bold in the transfer market. Why not be bold with future decisions going forward?
Well,
you know, it would get the fans on side and all of that.
I mean, if Bob's coming up with his own version of what my hopes happens, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Fans can dream. Get Klopp back.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a dream on a wish list, is there?
Yeah, but, you know, you've got to be realistic, Bob. It ain't happening.
It's not happening.
I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't happening.
It's talkSPORT. It's Sam Matterface and Alex Crook. We're here right the way through until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Gabby Agbonlahor here as well. 03717 223344 is the number to call. You can WhatsApp us. You can text us as well. It's 81089. We're reacting to last night's Europa League and Conference League action. All 3 English teams through to the semi-final. Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa will play each other. How poor are these European competitions? Forest in the relegation fight in the semi-finals and Tottenham finishing 4th in a Champions League table. And boring Arsenal in the semi-final. Awful, says Brian.
Decent point.
In Liverpool. Do you know what? I think that's if you saw Munich against Real Madrid.
I did that game.
Amazing. On
like
Wednesday night.
Sport to Sporting against Arsenal.
I don't think these European competitions are that bad. Crystal Palace are in a European Cup semi-final. Up the Palace, says Chris in Croydon, and making a debut in the competition. They get through to the semi-finals after a victory on 2 legs over Fiorentina. They lost 2-1 last night, actually, after taking an early lead in the game, then got pecked back and then gave away a penalty. And it all went a little bit wrong second half for about 10-15 minutes when it got a little bit nervy. But they deserved it over 2 legs. They were much better than Fiorentina. And I actually thought this was going to be the toughest test they had in the Conference League. It didn't turn out like that at all.
Fiorentina haven't been in their best form this season. It's been a struggle, hasn't it? In Serie A.
They were winless after the first 15 games of the Serie A season, but they've won a lot of points in the second half of the season. They're pretty much safe now in Serie A.
Palace are a good side when they've got their starting 11, haven't they? When everyone's fit and available, They've got some very good players, and hopefully they'll go on to win it.
Well, the biggest concern will be the two injuries they picked up last night to Maxence Lacroix and to Adam Wharton. Both had to be substituted in the first half.
Yeah, that would be a big blow. You know, two key players moving forward, but I'd still make Palace heavy favourites now to go on and win the competition. And we're talking about an All-English in the Europa League semi-finals. Could be an All-English in the Conference League final as well, because, of course, Gary O'Neill and Strasbourg in the semi-final on the other side of the draw.
Strasbourg not technically an English club.
But Gary O'Neill certainly an English man.
What do you think, though, Sam, of the manager, Crystal Palace, letting the players go out afterwards?
Well, listen,
If you're a Spurs fan,
I didn't know about this because if I had done, I probably would have tried to join them.
Yeah.
but I got back to the hotel last night and there was stuff coming through on social media.
Yeah.
And then this morning when I was getting on the plane, it was with loads of the Crystal Palace fans and they started to say, did you see last night? Did you see last night? This is what Oliver Glasner said at the end of the game.
Or what's exactly the same is the players asked me if we can go out tonight, and this was the same what the Frankfurt players asked me after winning the quarterfinal, and I agreed a few years ago that the players can go out, and I agreed tonight that the players can go out. So that's, I think, exactly the same, and hopefully the ending of the story will be the same.
Well, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can see now we're going to put pictures of the Palace players on the streets of Florence enjoying themselves after last night's victory. They deserve it. It's the first ever semi-final of a European competition. The boys are allowed to go out and have a little bit of fun. Why not?
What do Spurs think of that?
What do Spurs think about that?
Well, what do Palace owe Tottenham?
Is it professional, though, bearing in mind they've got a game on Monday Night Live on talkSPORT away at West Ham?
I don't think any Palace fan will care. And that's ultimately what it's all about. You look after yourselves, you look after your own club. If they lose to West Ham and it ends up relegating a London rival, they win the Conference League, they've enjoyed their night in Florence. No Palace fan or player is going to be bothered
I think
about
you
that.
will have complaints, though, from Spurs if Palace do lose to West Ham.
But why?
It's not Palace's fault. Tottenham are in the bottom three.
Tottenham got the right to complain, bearing in mind they haven't won a game in 2026.
I get that, but if you're a Tottenham fan, a Tottenham player, anything to do with Spurs, you're going to look at it and say, "Oh, they're out, are they? Like they're going to get back at what time today?"
Hold on a minute.
And then they play on Sunday against West Ham.
Yeah.
I think West Ham beat
Monday night.
Monday, sorry. They play against West Ham. I think West Ham beat them.
Last season, Ange Postecoglou basically said they took the second half of the Premier League off in order to concentrate on Europe. So therefore, all the teams that beat them from January and therefore impacted the league position negatively of other teams, should they be complaining?
No, but what I didn't like last season was Slot when you went to Ibiza. I didn't like that. And the Liverpool players to Dubai. And it's come back to bite them, hasn't it?
But that's a separate issue. The issue that Crook has brought up there is actually a key one. Ange Postecoglou is basically saying that he threw the league because he wanted to concentrate on the Europa League, means that no one of a Tottenham persuasion can have any argument about Crystal Palace players going out for one night.
Fair. Yeah, I get that, because last season teams playing Spurs were getting points, wasn't they? Because he was resting players. But I just think West Ham probably beat Crystal Palace in this game anyway. But they're going to give themselves a better chance because West Ham look like they're up for the fight. And we said it earlier, didn't we, Crookie, on the train, that Spurs could find themselves 5 points adrift. Because I think Forest win, I think Leeds win, and I think West Ham win.
Which would be a big problem for Tottenham and Roberto De Zerbi. We're going to talk about a little bit later on. You mentioned West Ham there. They, like Crystal Palace, really targeted this competition, this Conference League. When it was brought in 2021, there was a few people that sort of raised eyebrows towards it. What was the value of it? Why did we need it? But actually, for teams like Crystal Palace and West Ham, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It was a mockery when Chelsea won it because it's not designed for teams of the stature of Chelsea. But it was brilliant for West Ham, obviously their first silverware for a long time and a European trophy. And for Palace, it's going to be another historic occasion, isn't it? The first leg at Selhurst Park, arguably the second biggest game in their history behind that FA Cup final last season. This is what the Conference League is all about.
You see the teams that are in the Conference League, and Crystal Palace should be winning it. West Ham should have won it. The standard of the Premier
Villa
League
should have won it.
Villa should have 100%. Losing to Olympiacos, Villa should have went and won that. The Europa League this season, Forest or Villa should win it. The quality and standard of the Premier League. Look what Bournemouth just done to Arsenal. Then you see Sporting Lisbon go to Arsenal, and I can't really lay a glove on them, because the standard of the Premier League is so high.
And you can understand why the teams like Bournemouth, like Brentford, who are fighting to try and get into European positions, are quite happy to try and fight for a place in the Conference
100%.
League. You mentioned last week that you weren't sure that Newcastle would want to be playing in the Conference League. I actually think they might quite fancy it because there's a real chance of lifting a trophy.
I think it was only said that because of the Champions League. You know, or is it 2 of the last 3 or 4 seasons, Newcastle have been in the Champions League. So go from Champions League to Conference League. But like you says, the chance of winning a European competition, if you speak to West Ham fans, what they experienced on the streets of London during the parade, you can't take those memories back.
How good has Ismail Assar been in this competition, by the way? And I know he's a player that's been linked with the likes of Liverpool in the past. I just wonder, Adam Wharton will go, I think, at the end of this season. Will Palace face a fight to keep hold of Sarr as well?
I like him a lot.
He's become
Dangerous.
the second highest scoring Senegalese player of all time in Europe, thanks to his goal last night, which was a brilliant goal, by the way, from Crystal Palace. They probably should have been 1-0 up before that goal went in. It's ages till Monday night. The Palace squad will be totally fine by then. That's a good point, isn't it? Because if you went out for a night, you'd be ready to work the next morning.
I would. I'd be on time, unlike some of us as well.
I was on time. There was no delay to the show.
You were saying a few weeks ago that you wouldn't want Manchester United in the Conference League either, no? Is it beneath them, yeah?
Yeah, it's not designed for clubs like United and
Really?
Chelsea. That's not arrogance. It's not. It's not
It's
what
a
the
little
Conference
bit.
League
A trophy's a trophy, though, isn't it?
I mean, you haven't won it all, have you? I mean, there's some clubs that have won all. Well, and there's one club that's won all of the trophies that are available to them.
That include the Mickey Mouse Cup in the summer.
You've got to be in it to win it, mate. Glad that you made it, Sam, says Alex King. Alex in the other chair would have been disconcerting. Also means that he's got more time to be on his phone. Oh, he's watching on YouTube and Facebook. Great result for Forest to get into a European semi-final for the first time in 42 years. The team did well and did it for Elliot Anderson after his family's devastating news. Our best wishes to Elliot and his family after the passing of his mother, Helen, yesterday. All right, lads, as a Spurs fan, I think it's an absolute disgrace. 4 days recovery, not enough. Spurs squad celebrated the Europa League win last season.
Cry me a river.
And they've still not recovered. Very good from Brian. Oi, oi, Gabby. Sorry about your phone, mate. You're always sharp back in the day. Miles off it, getting caught off guard like that. We will happily pay for your phone as you're our hero. We will pay for your phone. You can get us a couple of tickets to the semi-finals against Forest.
Deal.
On that front, and it was full last night. I wasn't sure before kick-off because there'd been a bit of controversy in there about the ticket prices. Yeah. I think I've seen this morning that Villa have lowered the prices for the semi-final, so credit to them for that.
The atmosphere will be brilliant, by the way. At both games of that semi-final, the atmosphere will be absolutely terrific.
Live on talkSPORT.
Looking forward to it. 03717223344 if you want to react to the week's football. It's been quite a week of European football, but the Premier League is back this weekend and maybe a title decider on Sunday. This is Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. And with Selco Builders Warehouse, check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
Am I right in thinking, Simon, Andoni Iraola, in the past, he's someone who's caught your eye? Down at Bournemouth, you've been impressed.
Can't not do, can you? I mean, he's done a remarkable job at times. I mean, predecessors of his did remarkable jobs contextually, but he's elevated it even beyond that. The style of play, the manner in which they put some of the biggest teams into their box. They've had players repeatedly sold from underneath them, and yet still managed to produce a talent pool. They've had players sold at the beginning of the seasons, players at the middle of the seasons, and yet the guy has worked the oracle. He started slightly tentatively, didn't he? Because obviously you saw the Gary O'Neill situation where he got bounced out of Bournemouth and everyone thought that was an injustice. This guy came in, couldn't win a game. Gary went over to Wolves. Wolves beat Bournemouth inevitably in that particular game, and everything was looking like a particularly dark day. But he's been brilliant for Bill Foley. Bournemouth's been brilliant for him because it's given him a passage into the Premier League and shown an opportunity to show his trade.
Yeah.
But he looks to me like a manager that's going in one direction, and that's up. The question will be, how will he go when he manages bigger players in a bigger football club that has bigger expectations than Bournemouth, irrespective of Bill Foley saying that they can afford whoever they choose.
Yeah, well, the direction we know he's going in is the exit door, because he'll leave the football club at the end of this season when his contract expires. Do you think, Danny, he's going to be widely coveted across the Premier League?
There's no reason why not, because he's unapologetically himself in the way Bournemouth play. If you ever watch Bournemouth play, always better to watch them live, and I've had the pleasure.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT, getting ready for the big weekend of Premier League action. It's a big weekend for both Arsenal and for Manchester City. How much of a positive for the league is an end-of-season title decider? And I just wonder what will happen next after the weekend. First of all, let's just focus on the game itself and how you think it's going to be won, because you look at Manchester City, started to stiffen up defensively in big games over the course of the last few weeks, not conceding as many goals, and Arsenal struggling to score them. As a result of that, would you suggest that this is a game where Manchester City are the favourites?
Oh, definitely Manchester City the favourites, playing at home as well. The form they're in, the form Arsenal are in. But I really think Arsenal are going to play real defensive game, I do. I can see Mascara at right back, Nketiah left back, Gabriel, Saliba. Midfield, obviously, Zubimendi and Rice. Martinelli, you've seen against Lisbon, he was working his socks off. He gives that to the side. I think this could be one of those games where we're so excited for, but it doesn't live up to expectation.
That often happens, doesn't it? I mean, we do a lot of these Sunday afternoons, 4:30 games. You and I go to them. We build them up as if they're massive, sort of decisive games, but then it doesn't end up always being the most entertaining.
This is decisive, though. I was speaking to...
It might be decisive, but will it be entertaining?
Watching Arsenal's not entertaining, with respect. So I think it's up to Manchester City to provide the entertainment, because I agree with Gabby. I think we're going to see quite an attritional game plan from Mikel Arteta, similar to what we saw against Sporting in the Champions League in midweek. But I'm struggling to see anything other than a Manchester City win, because psychologically they've got the edge, having beaten them in the League Cup final at Wembley. You look at Arsenal's form since then, dumped out the FA Cup by Southampton, lost at home to Bournemouth, uninspiring. particularly in that second leg against Sporting, and I don't think you can just turn momentum on like a tap. And speaking to Jeremy Doku in the tunnel at Stamford Bridge last weekend, he used the word decisive. The City players are in no doubt at all about how important this game is. If they win it, there's a massive chance they go top of the table live on talkSPORT when they go to Burnley in their game in hand in midweek. And then you look at City's record in the month of April. 29 wins, I think it is now, from the last 32 games in April. That tells you they come to the boil at the business end of the season. They're finding their feet, they're finding their mojo, they're finding their form just when Arsenal are losing theirs. I defy any Arsenal fan to come on and tell me why they think their team can win this game or even avoid defeat.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there are three possible outcomes here. Manchester City win, a draw, or an Arsenal victory. Manchester City need one of those. A good result for Arsenal is the other two. Yet why does the pressure feel on Arsenal more than it does on Manchester City?
Because Arsenal didn't turn up against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. They stalled. Then against Southampton, yes, good Southampton side, but Championship side, they didn't turn up. Then they play against Bournemouth, where you're thinking, go on, you got a chance of going 12 points clear. They don't turn up again. Yes, they done a job against Sporting Lisbon, but they weren't very good going forward. So you look at their form, and you've got to think Manchester City are favourites at the Etihad. And you know what team Manchester City are going to play now. You know it's going to be O'Reilly, Kushinov, Gahey, Nunes, Donnarumma in goal, Rodri, Bernardo Silva. You know it's Semenyo off the right. You know it's Shirky behind Haaland. You know it's Doku on the left. You're seeing some consistency now where you don't always see with Manchester City. With Arsenal, who's going to play on the right? Is it Dauman? Is it Madueke? Is it Havertz? You don't know. And they're not in form.
Injuries certainly affected them at the wrong time of the season as well. Saka's Achilles problem has really come at the wrong moment for them. It is full of anticipation. I think we're all full of anticipation for what is going to be a seismic game. As you say, it is definitely going to be decisive. The last probably true title decider was back in 1989 when Liverpool played Arsenal, last game of the season. It's up for grabs now. They had to win by 2-0 Arsenal away from home to secure it. There haven't been too many instances since then of the top two teams going together to decide the title in the last few weeks.
I don't know. I think there's been a few. I remember United.
Well, it's the latest that the top two teams have met since 2012.
But I think you can compare it a little bit to United going to St James's Park in 1996, that Cantona goal that changed the course of history in that season. You've got Manchester City beating United in a Manchester derby. That was possibly even later in the season, was it? When United had dropped points against Everton, went to the Etihad, lost 1-0, and then City went on to win the title. So I think you can compare it.
I still think that both teams drop points after this game. I really do. Arsenal have got to go to West Ham. West Ham will be fighting for their lives. Manchester City have got Aston Villa, last game of the season. You know, Aston Villa might need a draw to get top 5, for instance. So there's still points to be dropped, and we all thought that Arsenal will beat Bournemouth. Didn't happen. Arsenal still got to play Fulham. I think they're at home to Fulham. Fulham might need a win or a draw.
Isn't that Villa game for City potentially a few days after the Europa League final?
Is that the date, yeah?
Is that right?
Is that right? Yeah, maybe.
The Europa League final not in between the FA Cup final and the last day of the Premier League season? I think it is.
Yeah, but that depends if who's in the FA Cup final, right?
But presumably,
the game takes
presumably
place
though, if Aston Villa win it and then they're given permission to go out on the town in Istanbul, Gabby won't be happy about that from a
No. I will change my stance, Crookie. I will get them to the parties. With your help, of course. Your links in Istanbul, Crookie.
We've got a few over there.
With the title race having the possibility of going right the way down to the wire, which is going to be fascinating if it does happen like that, which I think it probably will do anyway.
I think it'll go last day.
The questions have started to be asked. There's been a few rumours, a few articles about it this week about the possible potential for a playoff to decide the title. Now, it's never happened in the Premier League era, but there is a provision in the rules for it to happen if the teams are locked on points, goal difference, goals scored, head-to-head, and away goals in head-to-head matches between the two.
What are the odds of that happening?
It's quite tight, you know.
Well, it's quite tight, but it can only happen if Sunday's game finishes 1-1 and the rest of the criteria are met. So Sunday's game has to finish 1-1.
That's my prediction, by the way.
And then the rest of the criteria will have to be met between now and the end of the season. But it is very, very tight at the top of the table. However, there was an incident back in, I think it was 1996, where they were so close between Newcastle and Manchester United towards the last 5 games of the season that they actually scheduled the game, the potential playoff, for Wembley Stadium in the week after the FA Cup final. And they printed some of the tickets.
And then United won at a canter.
Yeah, they did. Did you think that? I mean, look, it's in Greece and Belgium. They actually do this as part of the league program. Do you play the regular season? It goes into the playoffs, and then some of the teams play off to play what is a grand final, bit like what they do in rugby union, bit like what they do in Super League. You ever thought that could be a possibility?
Don't they do it in Australian Football League? I'm sure I've seen it. Yeah, I think they do. We're speaking to...
Do it in MLS as well.
But I remember in Belgium, it was Tony Bloom's team, wasn't it? Union Saint-Galois, who won the league phase easily and then didn't end up being crowned champions because of the playoffs. So, no, I'm not in favour of it.
But it's odd, isn't it? So you can be top of the league, but you don't win it. You've got to go and play, like, playoffs.
They do it in rugby as well, don't they?
That's what I just said, yeah.
Very strange. But Arsenal players really have to turn up, Sam and Alex. The attacking players, Trossard, Madueke, Gabriel Jesus, Eze Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, not scored enough goals this season for Arsenal.
I still think they need a big statement signing this summer, especially if they don't win the league. But even if they do, and obviously...
Where opposition?
Well, we've been talking about Julian Alvarez on the Premier League All Access podcast this week because there's a little bit of chatter in Spain that he might well be available. It's going to take a hell of a lot of money to get him out of there, and I think it'd be very difficult to do so because he's only just signed.
He's got a relationship. He's got a relationship with Andrea Berta, who I think did the deal for Atletico, taking Alvarez from Manchester City, obviously now sporting director at Arsenal.
Who do you think are the biggest opponents for Manchester City biggest opponents for Arsenal this weekend? Manchester City or themselves?
You know what? It can probably be themselves. We spoke about this earlier on in the week, Sam. These players, I was saying before the Sporting Lisbon game, these players should have locked the change room doors, old school style, the leaders in that dressing room, everyone's saying we bottle jobs. We've already bottled 2 trophies. Are we going to be bottled jobs and go for a quadruple and win nothing? Or are we going to stand up? We're going to make a statement win against Sporting Lisbon. Or we're going to go to the Etihad and show some cojones and show that, like, we're going to win this Premier League. That's what we've got to do.
It'd be interesting to take the temperature of the Arsenal fans this morning going into the weekend. How are you feeling about it? Do you think that you've got the ability to just sort of wipe the last few weeks from your memory and just go for it, take on Manchester City, go up there and get a result? Or do you think there's every chance that you could end up collapsing again? 03717 223344. Does it feel like a couple of years ago when we went up there thinking that it was a title decider and Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland turned it on and swept you aside?
You know what I love though, Sam? I love Thierry Henry's comments in the week. He says, forget tonight, Sporting Lisbon. I want to see the fire that Mikel Arteta is talking about. I want to see it on Sunday. Not a draw. Go there and win.
What do you think? What's their biggest opponent, themselves or Manchester City?
I think a combination of the two. I think they've forgotten how to go out and take games by the scruff of the neck and try and dominate opponents. I think they're playing far too cautiously with a handbrake on, but that's not just the last few weeks. I think that's been happening probably since the turn of the year, and they're up against a Man City side who are in that winning groove and have got a lot of belief in their ability. It was funny. I was at Old Trafford on Monday night. Less said about that, the better. But Paul Scholes...
Only just because you turned up late.
Wish I'd turned up at all. Paul Scholes did a Q&A at Hotel Football before the game, and he was asked about the title race. And his view was that Manchester City would win it because, in his words, Arsenal never beat a top team. Whenever they come up against one of their direct rivals, they're found wanting. I think he's got a point.
Yeah, fair. But I look at this game and I say, Arsenal, go. But what are the tactics, Sam? Alex, what are the tactics from the manager?
Well, the tactics the last time we went to this game, so me and Alex went to the game back in, I think it was
at the
October
Emirates,
or something like that, the Emirates, right?
5 at the back for Pep second half.
5? It was 10 at the back in the second half. It was absolutely
incredible,
ludicrous. It was unreal. It was a fascinating game of football, but it was not what we were expecting from a Pep Guardiola team. And Arsenal actually, despite Crook's sort of a suggestion they don't beat any big teams, are unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League games against Manchester City.
How many wins?
They've won 2 of those and drawn 3. But those results would be, whatever result, that would be a good result from this weekend.
A draw. If you offered Arteta now,
absolutely
0-0, it'd bite your hand off.
Absolutely.
Because they've got favourable games left compared to Man City's fixture list.
Therefore, Arsenal fans, what are you thinking? Well, let's take the temperature of you this morning. 03717 223344. Why don't you come on, tell us what you think about it, how you're feeling. Have you got a bit of nervous energy going into the weekend? Are you glass half empty or glass half full? 03717 223344. Stephen is a fan of Arsenal. He says Arsenal got to go to City and draw. We don't have to win the game. Why do I think I can go there and get a result? Because we're top in the league. We're in the semi-finals of the Champions League. We're not just playing rubbish football. Let's just see what happens on Sunday. He's a glass half full. Are you? 03717 2233 844. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
The debate goes on, the hair-pulling debate goes on, because Manchester United, we now learn, plan to appeal against the red card given to Lisandro Martinez for pulling the hair of Leeds United striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Here's the thing, for the dismissal to be overturned, United have got to successfully argue to the FA that Paul Tierney made an error in sending Martinez off. Going to get Danny's take on this, because this isn't going to finish yet, not anytime soon. Michael Carrick said this about the sending off and the incident.
Shocking decision to send Leach off. It's 2 games in a row we've had decisions like that go against us, but that one I have to say was one of the worst I've seen. So you can elbow Lenny Yoro for the first goal in the side of the head, leaning on obviously, and then you can throw your arm in Leach's face, and then as he's off balance because of that, and he half grappler and he kind of half touches the back of his ear, which then pulls the bobble out, which then leads to look like I don't even know what it looks like. It's not a pull, it's not a tug, it's not aggressive. He touches it and he gets sent off, and worst of all, he was actually sent to overturn it, clear and obvious error. It's shocking.
Shocking, according to him. Not so Martin Samuel in the Times. Now we know where we stand. Players, coaches, supporters, everybody. Hair pulling may be a playground tactic, but it is a red card offence and a 3-match ban. Got that? Good. Now we can move on. Do you move on from it, Danny?
Carrick's spot
He's
on.
right, isn't he?
Is he heck? He's jumped up for an header. He's not even looking at the ball, and his hand scrapes down the back of his back and catches the...
talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabster. We're here through till 1 o'clock. Thank you very much for lending us your ears this morning. It's always great to be with you on a Friday. Jamie, the Arsenal fan, Greg, the Arsenal fan, Tony, Raymond, George, all trying to get in touch this morning. Let's speak to Jamie. Hello, Jamie.
Morning, how are we?
Jamie, we're going to have to come back to you in just a second because you sound like a robot. We don't have AI contestants coming on the programme. Greg, hello.
Morning, chaps. How are you doing?
Yeah, we'll get back to Jamie in just a second. Greg, what do you want to say about Arsenal this weekend? Are you glass half empty or glass half full?
No, definitely glass half full. It's on the players now to go back to what we did in '98, going to Old Trafford, Mark Overmars scoring to turn the table on them. Will Tord in '02, going to Old Trafford, winning there. White Hart Lane in '04, winning the title there. We need a performance, and we're capable of doing the performance, to go there and win. Put the marker down, bully them at set pieces, and scumbag our way to this league. And we'll do it. I truly believe we are capable, and we will do it.
Bully them at set pieces. You're talking about Mark Overmars, Sylvain Wiltord, Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit. You haven't got those type of players going forward in your armoury this weekend.
Gabriel, Declan Rice.
No, do you know what we have? We've got Eberechi Eze, who is capable of absolute magic, Alex. So,
what is
yes,
that? Is that
okay,
the Eze that scored 6 goals in the Premier League and 5 of them against Spurs?
Is that? Yeah, 5 of them against Spurs. He scored against City in a cup final, Gabby. So yes, he is capable. So you are absolutely right.
Okay.
Why are you being anti-Arsenal?
Anyone else got any questions?
They have got.
Any
some
more
magic about them.
questions? He's very bullish for a team of
or top of the table and into the Champions League semi-finals. Fancy being bullish.
Right, Alex.
This time 3 weeks ago, you were going for the quad.
Who was the last team to win the quad?
According to you lot, we never said that.
No, you did. Arsenal fans are talking about it loads that I met. God. We're going to win the quadruple,
No,
Gabby.
they weren't. It was you a lot. It was you and your little platform on talkSPORT. It's none of us. We're not saying we're going to win it all because it's never been done before. The league is the bread and butter. That's the one we all want. It's the one we crave the most.
Does it get you irritated that the sort of the neutrals seem to be enjoying the fact there's a prospect of you throwing it all away?
Do you know what, Sam? I'm embarrassed for them. When you've got Chelsea fans on here praying for their team to get beat, you've got Spurs fans saying we'll get relegated if Arsenal bottle it. When you've got Liverpool fans now twerking for City, who are meant to be their rivals a couple of years ago, I feel embarrassed for them. Support your team. Never want your club to fail to spite someone else.
I think that's fair. I think that's the best point you've made on this call.
Apart from all the other ones where we won, Alex.
Thanks for your review, Alex. Sitting in judgment.
Is Shane there,
Listen,
Cookie?
it is worth reminding everybody Arsenal top of the table. They've got quite a healthy lead and they're into the Champions League semi-finals. Not a bad place to be.
They haven't got Mark Overmars.
They would have taken that 5 years ago. Listen, mate, just concentrate on your own club qualifying for the Champions League, first of all. It's not a foregone conclusion.
Agreed.
Thank you very much to Greg. Jamie, you're through. We've got you back, Jamie. You all right?
Yeah, hopefully I'm not like a robot anymore.
Excellent. Now you sound much better. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to call up that I sort of am a bit in agreement with the last caller that, you know, everyone's a bit embarrassing wanting Arsenal to lose. But then again, you do watch AFTV and things like that, and it is sort of makes everyone not want to like Arsenal.
Is there a little bit of responsibility on Arsenal fans because of AFTV and the sort of the start of the fan media, that's how it all started to sort of come about?
No, I don't really care about it. I don't watch it. I don't really know who. I only know the Robbie guy. I don't know any of them really.
It's incredibly popular.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'm a different age, so I don't really watch that kind of stuff. It's not for me. But I just feel that we are throwing it away slowly. Watching us play every week is really, really dull and dire, like the midweek game, the game before. I phoned up last week and said, we don't have any keys to unlock any defences anymore. It does seem like when Dalman comes on, it feels like he has something different to offer, like what Saka did a few years ago. Saka just seems, I know he's injured, Saka seems very laboured, copy and paste football. Every time he runs down the wing, he does the same thing, comes in, tries to cut in and shoot. It's the same football every week. We need a different option. Pep's done that.
But why is that?
They're where they are now.
Explain to me why that is, because you've got creative players in your team. You've got Martin Odegaard, although he's had injury problems. You've got Eze, you've got Madueke, you've got Trossard. You've got players who have unlocked the door for you before. Why is it not happening now? Because
I feel that he's not able to change his way of football. You know, people can take people so far. The greats have changed. Wenger changed. He challenged Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson turned around, changed his football and won more. I mean, you know, you need to be a great. Pep has done exactly the same. Arteta is only just starting out in his management. Yes, he's done 6-7 years, whatever.
Some of the players have to turn up, though. I mean, I do like Martinelli, but Martinelli's got 1 goal this season in 26 Premier League games.
He's not good enough. He isn't an Arsenal player, and they can cash in on him and make some money. They need a winger. They need someone on that side. Downman's coming through. They need someone on that side. Madueke's had some great games. Sometimes he's got a lot of product and no end of it. He gets down the wings and then sort of turns in, does the same as what Saka does. It's similar football every time. As I said, when you watch Downman come on, there just seems to be a different feel. And I feel we do need someone on the other side, a winger.
Would you take Anthony Gordon? I've heard a couple of whispers this week that he's on your list as well as Bayern Munich.
No, I don't think he's good enough for the next level. I know he's a great player, but I don't think, and there's no slight, 'cause I've got a great friend who's a Newcastle fan, but he's just not good enough for us. I think if he went to Germany, he'd have a great time because the German league is not the same as the English league. I do think we need someone from a bigger club than what we are, maybe, a Real Madrid or Vinicius Junior, someone like that, someone up front, someone just different to give us a different feel up in the forward area.
Be interesting to see where you get the money for something like that. 03717 2233 44. Jeremy, good luck to you. Hope it works out. Tony is an Arsenal fan. Hello.
Hello there. Good morning.
Good morning to you. You think that not enough respect is being laid at the door of Arsenal?
No. Well, look, I mean, we're living rent-free in everybody's head. That's fine. The media have got plenty to say, including AFTV, by the way. But anyway, regardless of that. Listen, this is not the final game of the season. We've got Newcastle. I've got Man City. But we've got Crystal Palace, Fulham. Really good, tough teams. At Manchester City, you've got Everton away, Brentford, Bournemouth away, and Gabby's team, Aston Villa, on the last game of the season. I mean, Arsenal can go up, have a nightmare, get stuffed, and still win the league. There's lots of points to be won and dropped. I mean, I know momentum, but listen,
I see what you're doing here, Tony. You're trying to take the pressure off your team by making out this is not the most important game of the season when you know it is.
It's a momentum. No. Listen,
it is. You can't afford to lose it, Tony, can you?
No. Of course we can.
Well, you can't, because then by Wednesday night they might be top.
That doesn't make any difference. Look, I remember.
Of course it does. How many points clear were you a few weeks ago?
Hang on.
We've seen this record before. You did it to Manchester United, came from miles back. United did it to Newcastle when they beat them at St James's Park. If City win this game, they're going to win the league. You know it and I know it.
That's rubbish. Listen, in 1989, we blew a 13-point lead over Liverpool and had to win the last game of the season at Liverpool 2-0, which we did. And the 2 games prior to that, we lost 2-1 at home to Derby and drew 2-2 with Wimbledon, which I was at them both.
With respect, Tony, that's 40 years ago. It probably has zero impact on the players that are playing now. But what does have an impact on the players that are playing now is the last few years where they have been in this situation and it's fallen.
If you let Manchester City go above you in the league, you are not overtaken. The confidence will be shot by these players. Lost the Carabao Cup, out the FA Cup. Of course it will.
Listen, what about your team then? Last game of the season, you're going to roll over?
We might not need to get any points, so maybe we will play some of the young lads. You never know.
Lads, you've got to have something to talk about. I get it, right? But football is football. I've been around a long time watching football. I'm probably older than both of you. And honestly, lads, this changes on a sixpence. And, look, I guess all momentum, I get it. But honestly,
You're a glass half full kind of guy. We like it. Cheers. We appreciate it, Tony. Good luck to you at the weekend. You can follow it on Game Day Live on talkSPORT. Crookie and I on air from 1:30 on Sunday afternoon. Raymond, hello.
Hello.
Hello. What do you want to say?
All right. Basically, I think on the game on Sunday, for the Arsenal, literally, they can win that game. But it's not the end of the world. Also, I'd like to say to Gabby,
hi, mate.
Talk sense. Hello?
Hello, mate.
Hello?
You all right, mate? It's Gabby.
Oh, right, Gabby, yeah. What I'm saying, with the Arsenal, whatever happens on Sunday, it's not the end of the world. Okay. I honestly think Aston Villa will get a result against Man City. And, honestly, that's what I think.
Yeah, you're hoping on that?
Yes.
Okay, mate. Yeah, all the best with that.
Where's the game's out at the Etihad, isn't it? What's your record like at the Etihad?
We don't do well against
I was going to say, I don't remember too many Villa wins there.
No. Don't rely on Villa, mate, in the last game of the season.
I think we need to get Raymond a new phone. But he's very chilled, Raymond. Maybe we should all take a little leaf out of his book. He's very calm.
I think he wanted a private audience with Gabby there.
Like, Gabby.
Maybe he wants to have the spare room.
Yes.
There's another spare room.
Well, what he won't do, though, Raymond won't go rummaging around your house trying to look for other people.
Oh, I found some bits and pieces.
I bet you did. He sent me a few pictures and went, "This is some gaff." 03717 2233. Double former and Arsenal fan. City are hitting peak at the perfect time, and they've settled their team. Gay and Semenyo have elevated them to a new level. Arteta will not be able to stop them on Sunday. It's time for him to go. The style he's adopted is not the Arsenal I grew up watching, says Tony. Seriously? 03717 223344. Sam, Alex, Gabby. Tony is the reason why many people dislike Arsenal. I don't think it's just Tony. The most arrogant fan base of all fan bases. They're all the same. Just look at Piers Morgan just the other week.
Variable.
Nobody can match him. Ian, the Newcastle fan. I don't think that's true. I think there's some good Arsenal fans. By the way, Piers Morgan, you were only giving him stick because he absolutely schooled you the other week and you had to scurry away.
He schooled me how?
He schooled you on the breakfast show.
Did he? Yeah. In what way?
Oh, you've forgotten it. Okay.
I don't think he
But
did.
you ever done Men in Black moment? This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor.
Harry Maguire in a bit of trouble, or his mouth has got him in a bit of trouble, Simon. The Manchester United defender, of course, now hit with a one-game suspension. He misses the match for United at Chelsea on Saturday. The FA ruled that he swore at the fourth official, Matt Donoghue, following his sending off at Bournemouth last month. Maguire missed Monday's defeat to Leeds, serving the suspension for that red card, but he'll now be banned for an additional game. Now, on the language that was used, the FA's written reasons confirmed that the fourth official, Donoghue, claimed Maguire shouted as he left the field, "You're a joke. You're all an effing joke." Maguire insists he didn't insult the fourth official, instead claiming he said something along the lines of, "It's an effing joke." The independent commission sided with the fourth official. They actually asked for a two-match ban, but in mitigation, which included Maguire's character, it meant they settled on one. What's worse, Simon?
Or did they get a character reference from the people in Mykonos?
What is worse? Questioning the integrity of an official or swearing at them?
Context, isn't it? I mean, robust language is used. It's the manner in which it's used. We're all grown-ups, and this language that we see and hear, which some people are wallflowers about, is traded amongst referees and players at certain times because you want that kind of dynamic. You don't want it to turn into disrespect, into aggression. And some would say, how can you use that language without being aggressive?
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 3 minutes past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Chelsea's co-owner admits getting rid of Enzo Maresca wasn't a change they wanted to make. Gabby Agbonlahor has told a conference in LA it's had a negative impact on the season. Here's former Chelsea keeper Mark Bosnich.
Obviously something's happened behind the scenes, but it seemed to have completely derailed Chelsea. The Enzo Fernandez thing really summed it up in a lot of ways, leaving him out and then having the result. And obviously Liam Rossini is under a lot of pressure.
Chelsea versus Man United is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Now, Arsenal invincible Laurent would start 16-year-old Max Dowman at Man City on Sunday, and he's urging Arteta not to play for a draw.
All those noises that Man City are coming, Man City are coming, Man City are coming. And what? We are on top of the league. We are 6 points clear, so we have to go over there and think that we can win this game because the big pressure is on them.
Meanwhile, ahead of the Merseyside derby, Arne Slot says Alexander Isak's still not ready to play 90 minutes, but Ian Rush is pleased to see him back.
Isak is a number 9, and I think maybe we've missed a number 9. You know, and because people are playing in different positions, but I think with Isak, I think he's a proper number 9, and hopefully he'll use the next 6 games, hopefully to get him ready for next year.
And Coventry could seal Premier League promotion tonight. Former midfielder George Boateng's told us speculation over Frank Lampard's managerial future is understandable.
Sometimes you think that the grass is greener somewhere else, but you build this fantastic team. Can you add more addition to it and stay where you are and become a hero for Coventry City fans? Well, you are already a hero, but can you become a legend?
Cobb will go up with a draw at Blackburn, live on talkSPORT 2 later.
talkSPORT News.
Keir Starmer refuses to resign over the Peter Mandelson scandal, and Lebanon is accusing Israel of violating a ceasefire just hours into it. Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The tyre transfer window is hotting up, and we've signed a multi-generational talent with Continental Tyres. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Rain in the north and west, spreading eastwards. Ahead of that rain, mostly dry, bright and warm, but blustery showers to follow.
Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor through till 1. We need to go there and earn this title. If they want it, they have to go to City and take the title, just like previous Arsenal teams have done when it was against us. Anfield, Old Trafford twice, White Hart Lane twice. Go and earn it. Go and get it. Probably should do the team talk, Steve, in Lancashire. They have to prove us all wrong, including us Gooners, that err on the negative side of the Arsenal life. John's an Arsenal fan. Are you a negative or a positive Arsenal fan? Are you half full or half empty, your glass, going into the weekend?
Well, when I served you boys at Dancing on Ice, your glasses were always completely full. So it's good to speak to you again.
Top man. Let's not give away any secrets, but I imagine there were bottles rather than glasses, weren't they?
True, they were indeed. Always waiting for you. Look, you know I'm an big Arsenal fan, and there are some, like Gabby said, there's some deluded Arsenal fans out there. There really are, and they don't do us any justice. But we need to go out there and attack. It has to be. Our defence has proved it from time and time again that our defence has been solid. But our attack needs to now get up to that level. Stick Dowman out on the right, Madueke out on the left. Gyökeres needs to step up now. These are the big games that he needs to score in to prove himself to everyone else. But we have to go and attack. We can't just sit back and allow City to run riot like they would at any other team.
Do you know what, John?
Go out there and try and win it.
I make you right, and you did used to look after, so thank you very much for that. I think the best way for Arsenal to stick two fingers up to their critics and all those people in the media they think are hoping they fail is to go there and surprise us. Go and take the game. You're
talking about yourself there?
Yeah.
Are you saying that
Prove me wrong?
Basically, you should probably go and do the team talk for Arsenal and say, prove me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they do that, I'll hold my hands up and say, do you know what? Well done, Mikel Arteta. Well done, Arsenal. You're going to be worthy champions.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think they have to go and prove it. So not just to hate, not to all the people out there that, that want them to fail, and you see it out there all the time. Even Tottenham fans, I'm like, you can't talk. Like, your team's about to go down, so shush. Everyone else is hating on Arsenal, but even the Arsenal fans are now starting. You can start to see it on some of these fan forums that they're starting to turn on Arteta, starting to turn on the team. I'm like, you're not giving us any chance here. Like, you've got to back your team no matter what. Your love for your club needs to outweigh the hate for everything else.
But isn't some of that, John, just a little bit of noise and hot air because people are frustrated? So people are scared and a little bit fearful about what's to come. So they vent and they say things they don't really mean, but they just get them out because they're frustrated. And sometimes that sort of snowballs and becomes more of a subject of sort of discussion than it needs to be, because most of the Arsenal fans really, obviously, are behind the team. They really desperately want them to get over the line.
Yeah, I think like there's not like the full amount of people. I think there's always a small group in every club. Even, you know, Chelsea, Tottenham, they're always going to have that small group of fans that are like quite toxic. But you know, the most of us, we're going to get behind the team, and I just think that we just need now this push. This is it. You've got to go and prove yourself to everyone, including the fans.
John, look at the game in the Emirates.
We know you can do.
Look at the game in the Emirates. Yeah. Arsenal were that good. Pep, for the first time I've ever seen, had to play 5 at the back, park the bus.
Yeah.
They should look at that game and say, yes, I know Manchester City have strengthened, Semenyo and Gahey coming in, but why can't Declan Rice go and run rings around Rodri and Bernardo Silva? He's got the legs on them.
I think it's because he's been playing like you'll have a defensive midfielder. When Mourinho was on, you knew for a fact that Rice would be bombing forward. He hasn't been able to do that. And with Sporting, you watch Madueke, he literally bombed past everyone, got up to where the attacking box, and you're like, there's no one else there.
Exactly.
But where are you? And it's, for me, Madueke's been brilliant. I think he's one of our best signings, and I'm pleased that he's come to us. He's proven that he's a good player. I want to see him out on the left, Downman on the right, and let's go at City. Let's go and do something that we don't normally do. I'm fed up with the boring, pass it around at the defence, pass it forward, then pass it back again, trying to build up. Enough.
Yes. John, brilliant call. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Nice to speak to you again, John. That's John, the Arsenal fan. Sam is an Arsenal fan. He joins us now. Hi, Sam.
Right, boys.
Yeah, we're very good, thank you. What about you? This weekend's big weekend. How are you feeling? Is it a title decider? Have you got to go up there and get something? Otherwise, will it all go wrong for you again?
Well, I mean, I spoke to you both the other day before I played golf. I'm not as confident then as I am now. My biggest issue is that we seem to be playing as the best way for me to describe this is like a golfing analogy, which Crookie, you won't know too much about that, but
says the bandit.
Yeah, right. So when the confidence isn't there, you're constantly looking at the danger to the left and to the right. So what you try and do is you try and make sure. You're always trying to make sure, and then what goes on then is you constantly find the trees or the rough and stuff like that. And I believe that's kind of what we're doing now. It's literally we're trying to make sure we're in the position where we should have won the league, and we're still in the driving seat as such.
Almost cramping up because the magic is gone, hasn't it?
They've got the yips. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I don't think it's the yips, mate. I think it's when you try and make sure, and you take the risks out of it. So we're not taking the risks that we were at the start of the season. The start of the season, like what Gabby and the previous caller were talking about, we were steamrolled in teams.
Yep.
City come.
Yeah, but you say that, but they went to Anfield earlier in the season, and Crook was very critical of the fact that their approach wasn't right, and they ended up losing that game at a time where Liverpool, yes, they were putting results on the board, but they weren't playing particularly well. And if you look at what happened to Liverpool subsequently, that looks like points drop now.
Yeah, and that's the fear that a lot of Arsenal fans I speak to have about Mikel Arteta, that when it comes to these big head-to-heads, his first priority is not to lose as opposed to try and win. I think it's very difficult. We've had a couple of Arsenal fans say we just got to go there, avoid defeat. A point is a brilliant result. It's very difficult to go to a place like Man City and just try and dig in for a point.
Yeah, I mean, what would you be doing? Would you be going just for the point? Would you? How is the message in the dressing room?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can go just for
the
point.
So if you only need a point, what does the manager say to you? What's it like sitting in the dressing room?
I think it's a case of you're not going to go stupid and go man for man, but you attack at the right times. You know, if that's Hincapia and Mascara or fullbacks, and obviously one of them are going forward at one time, the other one tucks back. If Zubimendi sits, Declan Rice, you can get forward. But you can't sit back and invite pressure on, because Shirky is the sort of player that will make something happen. If it's a Haaland header, if it's an O'Reilly, Nico O'Reilly is doing great at scoring important goals. If you sit back against Manchester City, they find a way.
They haven't lost many games this season. What is it, half a dozen over the course of the whole campaign? And every time they've lost a game afterwards, Mikel Arteta has come out and he's always been quite magnanimous in defeat, and he's sort of been very much, I love my players, they're great guys, you know, we just have to hand it to the opponent, blah, blah, blah. When I spoke to him after the game against Bournemouth on Saturday, I noticed a marked difference in him. He was angry. He was really angry. He was absolutely furious about it. He said the words, I think he said them a few times, it feels like a punch in the face, and we've got to deal with it. That change in mentality from him, I think, has got to be used to sort of, he can't keep putting his arm around them anymore. He's got to demand more from them. Do you think he's dealing with the pressure?
100%.
Well?
He would have looked at that game and says, we play before City, we can go 12 points clear. You've lost that game, City win, it's down to 6. Now it's not in our hands. But it's in our hands and Manchester City. If Manchester City win all their games, they will win the Premier League. So if you're Mikel Arteta, you're looking at your players and saying, guys, come on. I'm defending you in the media. I'm coming out of all these, oh, we got the pens, or we're going to bring the fire. Bring your lunch and dinner to the game.
All these a little bit bizarre, that.
Yeah, all these silly things he's saying. But
the pens and the lunch and the dinner and the I'm on fire.
Silly things to say.
Are going to be memes if he doesn't get over the line.
Of course, Win the Dog will be a meme. Showing a TikTok reel on the big screen at training. It's like all these things that he's doing are going to come back to haunt Arsenal Football Club if they don't get over the line. But I'm saying, Sam, Gabriel, Raya, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Gyökeres, all these players, you are leaders. Go and show in this game. Go and show the fire. That's what you go and do. Big games, big players turn up.
It's funny. You can read a lot into what managers say after games, and you're right. I think Mikel Arteta did drop his guard a little bit with you and showed his emotions. Pep Guardiola did the opposite with me at Chelsea at the weekend. He was saying there were three of us interviewing him in a radio huddle. None of you guys would have put a single pound on us to win the League Cup final. We did that, and I asked him, you know, if you prefer to be chased or be the chaser, and he said, I'd rather be 10 points clear. But he had a little glint in his eye, and that's him putting the pressure firmly on Arsenal's doorstep.
Well, he was right, because me and you met up before the League Cup final and we both had a tenner on Arsenal.
We did.
Sam Vorey says, Arsenal City is a massive game, but not make or break. City, despite good run of form, still got some more losses in them. They will lose to Bournemouth and draw to Brentford, he says. Well, they haven't been consistent over the course of the season. Nicholas, hello, you're the final corner on this. What do you want to say quickly on Arsenal?
Oh, superb! Thank you very much. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Just real quick, I think the players are we going to field against Man City on the weekend, because they're all falling like Saka's injured, Odegaard's injured. These are big players that you need in big games, and they're all out. I'll personally start with Havertz up front and bring on Victor Gyökeres, but it all depends on who's fit and who can play. But I think you're right. We have to go for a win. We can't play not to lose, because you leave yourself open to a mistake, like we did with the League Cup when we knew it was coming. One mistake, 1-0 down, and then it's impossible to chase City when we're 1-0 down. They're so good at hitting you on the break and punishing you for mistakes. You've got to go out there and just play with freedom. Well, you got to lose a football game in the day. These football players are so blessed that they've got the best job in the world. It's not as if their children are being held hostage or anything like that. Yeah. There's a lot worse things happening in the world. You know, you got to relax and say, look, you are the most privileged human beings on the planet. You're playing in an amazing game and to create history. Enjoy it. Because for goodness sake, because before you know it, you could all be retired anyway. So
absolutely. Cheers, Nicholas. Thank you very much. It definitely could be worse. You could have to spend the night with Gabby Agbonlahor. 03717 2233 44. If you want to get in touch, we're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. So much more to talk about, including Chelsea. We're talking about the Merseyside derby as well, and Tottenham Hotspur. Hey, do you know what? You know, like when we all first started doing this show together, and people thought it wasn't going to go well. So we all got together, went out for a posh lunch, because if we go for a posh lunch, it's good for team bonding.
I totally agree.
Apparently, Roberto De Zerbi has done the same.
I'm enjoying Britain's Got Talent. Are you more into? You've not hit your golden buzzer yet, have you?
No, I have. I hit it for Rafferty. Yeah, I hit it for Rafferty, 16-year-old boy who gelled music and magic together. It was really sick.
And the last one, I watched one last night. I thought it was recording. The choir at the end were very good. The kids from Wales.
Yeah,
very good.
We did the whole 6-7 thing. Do you even understand what that is?
But you also you get some numpties on there as well.
Oh,
don't
you do. But
what about the guy with the Scotch egg? He wants sectioned.
KSI, I've got before I let you go. You're talking about 16-year-old magician Max Dowman. What about your team? Have you got a little bit of panic on the Arsenal?
Nah, zero panic. I know the boys are on it, and I'm going to see them today or tonight when they face Sporting Lisbon. It's going to be a great game. I'm excited to see them do their thing. Obviously with what the press do to Arsenal, and some, even with some fans, and definitely everyone who aren't Arsenal fans, they put a lot of pressure on the team, and they want the team to break, but they're stronger than that. And I know that this year is going to be different. So I'm excited to see them perform and, do what they need to do to hopefully get a trophy this year.
It's Friday, it's Sam Matterface and the boys, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook here. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon, and we're looking forward to a big weekend of Premier League football. Brighton go to Tottenham this weekend. It's a reunification between Roberto De Zerbi and Brighton. He's now in charge of Tottenham Hotspur. He's been trying to take the temperature down this week, trying to sort of get everybody on side. There was supposed to be a pre-match parade to welcome the team bus. The Tottenham fans have called that off now. They did it before the game against Nottingham Forest, and they ended up losing the game. So I think they're sort of just trying to just sort of bring down the hype a little bit. That seems like the right thing to do, Crook.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea of having a pre-match parade when you're in a relegation battle always seemed a bit strange to me.
It's not a parade. It's more of a sort of welcoming, isn't it? Like Everton did it, and it worked for them brilliantly.
Yeah. Obviously didn't have the same impact at Spurs. I think this is a really tough game for Tottenham. Brighton have found a bit of form, repaying the faith they showed in Fabian Herzler when some Brighton fans with short memories were asking for a change of manager. 5 wins in 6th, an opportunity to gatecrash the top 6 this weekend. And obviously they've lost Romero now, their so-called leader. I think it's going to be another difficult afternoon, another defeat for Spurs.
What do you think?
Like Crookie said there, the Brighton players know De Zerbi. Old manager, they're going to want to do well against him, maybe even put themselves in a shop window. Maybe Spurs do stay up. Obviously, you're going to go and earn a lot more money at Spurs than Brighton. But I just look at this game, Sam, and the pressure's going to be on Spurs because I think Leeds win. I think Nottingham Forest win. I think West Ham beat Palace away. And Brighton, if they win and results go their way, they go above Chelsea into the top 6. Still can chase down Champions League football themselves as well.
I'm really sure there'll be many Brighton players, if that happened, trying to switch at the Amex for the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Money talks. Money talks.
Strong point, obviously. That would be the ultimate irony, though, wouldn't it? Chelsea has spent 2 years trying to beat Brighton, and then Brighton finish above them in the table.
It's eminently possible. In order to try and sort of get the team together, Roberto De Zerbi has taken the players out this week. It was a team bonding exercise which saw him book a table for everybody to go to Bacchanalia in Mayfair for a lavish dinner. Now, you tell me you've been to this place.
I think I have, yeah. I think it's in Italian.
someone else was paying.
They might have been cooking. It might have been.
Roberto De Zerbi played for this one.
But
he could afford it.
But didn't their previous manager take them for a meal?
Yes, he did. That really worked.
That didn't do well, did it? Maybe they've gone to a better restaurant this time.
Maybe.
And the players maybe didn't have to put their hand in their pocket.
Does it work, though, when you do those sort of contrived things of getting everybody together outside of work? Oh, come on, let's go and have
Not really, mate. No, not really, no. I think you can do that in the training ground. You can.
There's always one player who doesn't turn up, who doesn't want to go or makes a fuss about going.
Exactly. And I think...
Is that usually you?
Yeah, I didn't turn up. No, I always turned up. But... We've seen Arsenal with the pens, and listen. When you're under pressure at a football club, there was time. I remember when Tim Sherwood come in, and training was hard, but he made it fun at times. Not with pens in your hands, but like maybe some of the games you play, the five-a-sides, there'd be a punishment if you lost. Just to make the team bonding and everyone happy. I'm not sure going out for a meal is going to help these Spurs players. What they need to look at is we haven't won a game in 2026. Like, what is going on here? They need a manager to De Zerbi to not go super hard on them. Maybe put their arm around them and say, Slanky, come on, England squad, you need to start scoring goals. You're a great player. You're a great finisher. That's scary. This generation of footballers, that's what they need.
So he is a good manager, and if you speak to anyone at Brighton, they would tell you that. The players absolutely adored him there. But
they were better against Sunderland, weren't they? A bit better.
Well, they ran a bit.
They didn't look like scoring second half, to me.
Well, they were fighting, weren't they? Would you say no?
I thought they were all right. I don't think they were. It wasn't like a marked improvement. So I didn't look at them and think, wow, this is just going to be so much different now. I can see them staying up. I actually thought they don't look like scoring. And once Sunderland scored, and they had a couple of chances beforehand, which they probably should have taken Sunderland, I thought, they're in trouble now.
I think the pressure's on as well. Brighton get that first goal. That Spurs stadium. And if you're Brighton, you're looking at Spurs' record at home and you're saying, guys, like, this is a must win.
Well, it's not just a record at home. They've won no games in the Premier League in 2026.
I don't think we'll see the sort of anger that we have seen at some home games this season for the Spurs fans if it starts to go wrong. I think what you'll see is resignation almost, because they know they're running out of chances, aren't they? And if the other results do go as we expect, and listen, football matches aren't won on paper, but I think Gabby and I are both thinking certainly Leeds and Forest will win, and West Ham have got a great chance with Palace's minds elsewhere, and Spurs lose that game. 5 points adrift with 5 games to play when you haven't won in the calendar year could be terminal.
Listening to you children trying your hardest to put Tottenham down.
It's not difficult.
We will beat Brighton the weekend and we'll get out of this. You will see. Well, I've been saying that, haven't I? I've been saying that they're going to get out of it.
You're less convinced today.
I'm a lot less convinced today than I was last week.
I mean, again,
I think it's out of 2 teams, though.
Does that message not sort of sum up the problem with Tottenham as a football club? We've had a text there having to go at us for putting Spurs down. You haven't won a game in 2026. Get your own house in order and realise the severity of the situation. Stop blaming everyone else.
Yeah, the players have let them down big style. There's no doubt about that. 0371 722 3344. It's WhatsApp. You can get in touch with us using that number. You can call us. You can text us 81089 as well. We've got lots to talk about, including, before we go at one, Chelsea and the situation there. They've got a huge game against Manchester United, which is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. In fact, this weekend, we've got some belters. Coventry getting promoted live on talkSPORT. We've got Fulham Brentford tomorrow morning.
Pompey Leicester, big one in the Championship.
Pompey Leicester, massive one for Pompey in the Championship. Alex Crook commentating on that. Who's going to do your notes for that?
I've already done them.
And Chelsea versus Manchester United tomorrow night live on talkSPORT. We'll talk about that as well. We're with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Wow. Well, just when Liverpool fans were in a state of depression somewhat after going out of the Champions League last night, the news has got even worse in the last 10 to 15 minutes, because it's our understanding here at talkSPORT, Hugo Ekitike faces 9 months out. He ruptured his Achilles tendon in the game last night against PSG at Anfield. He will now also miss the World Cup. So Ekitike is out. All of a sudden, there's a lot more emphasis going forward on Alexander Isak. And of course, bear in mind, Mo Salah is going at the end of the season as well. So it adds up to an awful lot of recalculation for the people running the club and for Arne Slot. Arne Slot coming in for it a bit as well. Simon and Danny alongside me this morning. Many messages coming in. We're going to take your calls 03717 223344 from 10:30 onwards. But there is one message, and it's not all that complimentary to Arne. Let's not use this half-good performance to gloss over the fact that Slot has turned a very good Liverpool squad into one of our poorest teams in many years. Slot's signings have been a disaster, and our whole season was thrown off course by the insane chasing to sign Isak, an injury-prone, overrated average striker, when we were desperate for a defender. Now, that's a Liverpool fan, Danny, who is laying it on thick this morning. Has he got a point?
Well, the thing is, Isak has struggled with injuries over the years. He only had one real full season for Newcastle where it wasn't interrupted by injury, but his quality is obvious.
A bombshell from Chelsea's co-owner, Gabby Agbonlahor. He's admitted getting rid of Enzo Maresca was not a change the board wanted to make, and that it's had a bit of a negative impact on the season. talkSPORT spoke to former Chelsea keeper Mark Bosnich.
Obviously, something's happened behind the scenes, but it seemed to have completely derailed Chelsea. The Enzo Fernandez thing really summed it up in a lot of ways, leaving him out and then having the result. And obviously, Liam Rosenior is under a lot of pressure.
At a conference in LA, Agbonlahor says, "I think we're behind Liam Rosenior." Chelsea next play against Man United, and it's live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Ahead of Coventry possibly sealing Premier League promotion later, former Coventry midfielder George Boateng told us speculation over Frank Lampard's managerial future is understandable.
Sometimes you think that the grass is greener somewhere else, but you build this fantastic team. Can you add more addition to it and stay where you are and become a hero for Coventry City fans? Well, you are already a hero, but can you become a legend?
Cov will go up if they avoid defeat at Blackburn, live on talkSPORT 2 tonight. Meanwhile, Unai Emery is looking forward to a very special Europa League semi-final.
It's important for both teams, and we have something similar. Those clubs won the Champions League. 2 times Nottingham Forest they have won.
Forest booked their showdown with Villa after a nervy 1-0 win over 10-man Porto at the City Ground. An injury to Callum Hudson-Odoi is a concern for Forest and their relegation battle. They host Burnley on Sunday lunchtime. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace players were allowed a night out in Florence. More Thursday night thrills for the fans. Palace face Shakhtar Donetsk in their Conference League semi. And there's more, as ever, on talkSPORT.com.
Stop winding everybody up, can you?
I wonder who's letting that off.
Winding everybody up.
I'm in a good mood today. It must be Gabby's hospitality.
I think it's because you were relieved the fact you didn't have to do any work.
Well, it took me almost as long to get from the bedroom to the front door as it did to get on the train from Birmingham this morning.
I made him a nice coffee.
Some gaff. You did.
I made you a nice coffee.
Which wing were you in?
No, I was in the West Wing, I think. But I did say coffee in bed.
I know, but I waited for him to get changed. No, I didn't. I went and woke him up right.
Put the shower on.
I told him, I had to go. I went and put the shower on for him. I went downstairs to the bedroom
because you knew you had to sit next to him on the train.
Yeah. I've gone.
Make sure his
I
hygiene
felt
was
like it was
scratched.
like one of my kids. I was like, the shower's on now, and the pressure's hot. That's what you do to turn it off. There's a towel. He brought his towel, by the way, from home.
You asked me to.
I was joking. He brought his towel.
Oh,
Sam, what chance have we got?
I bought my Cantona towel as well.
Right, it's time for this.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Time now to catch up with the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. And Lord Dan Towles from BetMGM is with us to look at today's top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Hi, Dan.
Sort your mate out, Dan.
Good morning, gents. How are we?
Yeah, we're very good. Crook is clean, which we're all happy about.
Oh, sorry, Sam, sorry, 2 secs. Sorry. I thought...
Sorry, for those of you not watching on YouTube and Facebook, Dan has decided to put a cap on just to imitate me. I've got my Mets cap on today.
I know, but you wouldn't see Jim White or Simon Jordan wearing a cap.
Yeah, no, but I take you're glitching, by the way. Your green screen's going funny. It's because I got on the bike to get from the airport to here, so I had the helmet on, so my hair's plastered to my head, and I look a little bit like a wrong 'un, so I thought I'd wear the hat instead. Less like a wrong 'un, I think. Maybe. If I'm lucky. Anyway, what a good night was again in Rotterdam last night at the BetMGM Premier League darts. Luke Lisler beaten by Johnny Clayton in the final. He's cementing his position at the top of the table.
Yeah, as you said, he did exactly the same again to get his fourth nightly win. As you mentioned, he beat Littler in the final, and to his credit, he looked fairly solid all the way through, seeing off Van Gerwen and Josh Rock on his way to the final. It's the third time this season a night winner has done it without averaging 100 in any of their matches, and all 3 times have been Johnny Clayton. We're now getting to the business end of the tournament. 5 nights left before finals night, and whilst it's not mathematically there, you would think Littler and Clayton will make the O2 because you expect them to pick up points over the next few weeks. But then the last 2 places are really up for grabs. 3rd to 6th are just split by 7 points when we head into Liverpool next week. I said on last week's show I thought Johnny Clayton's 7-1 could be some value to win another Premier League title. He's now 11-2, and on current form, I don't think anyone will be writing him off.
Let's talk about the weekend's Premier League action because there's some key matches, aren't there? We've mentioned a few of them, but let's just hone in on Leeds against Wolves and Everton against Liverpool. Everton haven't won any of their last 14 games at home against, so they've won just one of the last 14 games against Liverpool at home. What chances do you rate them of breaking that trend this weekend?
Yeah, I'll just start with Leeds, Wolves, Sam, at the other end of the table. Their victory, obviously, at Old Trafford, which Crookie attended and doesn't want to talk about on Monday. You'd imagine they'll be coming to this game full of confidence. And you think a win will cement their Premier League status for 26-27 season. Rob Edwards' side coming off the back of a 4-0 defeat at West Ham last Friday and haven't won since the start of March, albeit there was an international break in the middle of that. They beat Liverpool then, and if results don't go their way, I think they can be relegated this weekend. Leeds are odds on to win. The draw's 14-5, and Wolves are nearly 5-1 to win away. Then, as you mentioned, the Merseyside derby on Sunday, only 5 points separates the 2 teams, and Liverpool only 1 win in 5 and only 2 in the last 8 in all competitions, whilst Everton the complete reverse, having just lost 1 in the last 5 fixtures. David Moyes' side looking to win 3 in a row at the Hill Dickinson, and if they do, they'll be hot on the heels of Liverpool. And it could be come the end of the season if they finish above Liverpool in the league. It hasn't happened since 2013.
Wow.
Everton 6-1 to finish in the top 6, which I think is a huge price given they're only 2 points off Chelsea. I think 1 point are actually off Chelsea. They are 43-20. The draw is 47-20, and Liverpool are 5-4 outsiders. I mean, there's no doubt Liverpool have underachieved this season given last summer signings. They've had a lot of injuries, but do you think Everton are getting the credit they deserve?
Not really. And if they do end up finishing above them, I think that probably spells a bit of a disaster for Arne Slot.
Yeah, it's a massive game. And again, we talked about the pressure, who's under most pressure when it comes to City against Arsenal, who's under most pressure here. I think you've got to say Liverpool. And actually, David Moyes said to me on air last week that there's a lot less pressure on us compared to some of those teams who are used to competing for European places because it doesn't happen that often for Everton. I think he's done a tremendous job.
And victory would see them hit the 50-point mark for the first time since the Carlo Ancelotti season at this stage of the campaign. So they're in fine fettle. Should we do golden goals? Because Crookie's had another winner this... Oh, no.
No, he didn't. No, he hasn't. Free to play
Hold on
game.
a minute. Before you hammer me, Dan,
Yeah.
He sent me a rare tip yesterday. In fact, probably your first ever tip, right?
Oh, he sent you a tip?
Yeah.
Horses?
No, football.
Okay.
Peterborough against Port Vale. He showed me his workings.
Oh, yeah.
I think he asked you the question.
He asked me the question.
Is it the first time that a team have had to play twice in 3 days? 3-1, I think it was, for Peterborough to win both halves. What was the score, Dan?
Yeah, they lost. It wasn't a tip. To be fair, I did say it had been shared with me, and the person who gave it to me, a certain individual by the name of Mac, he's now been deleted from my phone book because all the insight was great. But when they went 1-0 down after 2 minutes, I sent him a text very, very quickly, and I haven't spoken to him since. So I apologise about that.
I did have a little look into your question though, about teams that play every two, because you said twice in 2 days. Obviously, there was a gap in between, so it was actually twice in 3 days.
Even got that wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But it does. It used to happen a lot over the Christmas period. I mean, that's just
always. We used to always play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but in recent years, Sam, has it?
Yeah, in the EFL apparently, and I did look into it a little bit. Apparently, in Leagues 1 and 2, it has happened quite a few times in recent seasons.
Premier League, it used to happen all the time.
Well, yeah, because over Christmas it happened.
Apart from that, Dan, it was the best message that I received.
Sorry?
Apart from the fact you got the wrong tip and you got the wrong information, it was brilliant.
I won't talk about your other messages. Right, but all the goals. Free-to-play game of the app. Predict 6 correct scores and you can win £250,000. But we do have prizes for 2 correct scores and upwards. For you guys, we donate money to prostate cancer should you get the correct score in chosen fixture this weekend. Crookie will come to you in a second because you're 0 out of 37. So you've nearly gone a whole Premier League season in terms of fixtures, not getting one right.
Wow.
But Sam, we're going to start with you and coming off the back of the game you're just talking about, Spurs v Brighton.
Yeah, Spurs winless this season in 2026 or in this year. They've lost the last 3, or they're winless in the last 3 against Brighton as well, which is not a great record. And Brighton actually, who had a difficult start to life when they were visiting the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, now all of a sudden they're starting to bang the goals in when they go there. 14 goals in their last 5 Premier League games against Spurs. So I've gone for Brighton to win the game by 2-1.
Yeah, won 3 of the last 5, and that included, as you mentioned, lots of goals. 4-1 victory at the final game at the end of last season. And obviously, Brighton aiming to get back into Europe. It's a huge game for both sides. A Brighton 2-1 victory, it's 15-2. Crookie, as we mentioned, 0 out of 37, but we've given you beloved Man United away to Chelsea.
Yeah, cheers for that, because this could be absolutely anything, I think. I mean, United have got a dreadful record at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea were terrible in the second half against Man City. So I've gone for heart above head. Maybe he's got more chance of coming in. I've gone 2-1 United.
When was the last time they won there?
In a while.
In a while, yeah. Chelsea have lost 6 of the last 9 games in all comps. And United won the reverse fixture actually 2-1 back in September. That's a 17-2 chance. And Gabby, game of the weekend, no doubt, is Man City Arsenal.
I think Arsenal playing away from home, there's going to be no importance for them to press and try and score. They're going to play defensive. It's what their manager does. Even though some of the players will want to go out and attack Manchester City, I don't think they will. I think a frustrating Super Sunday and not as exciting as we were all predicting. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Do not be surprised if Arsenal score off a corner.
Yeah, same fixture. I think, was it the fixture last year at Etihad where Erling Haaland was reminding some of the Arsenal players to stay humble?
Stay humble, yeah.
I think, yeah, the draw at the Etihad. Huge game in the title race. And if your prediction does come in, then it's advantage Arsenal, you think, for the title. A 1-1 draw is just over 5-1. So, Sam, you've gone for Spurs, Brighton, a 2-1 victory for Brighton. Chelsea, Man United, Crookie, you've gone a 2-1 victory for Man United. And Gabby, you've gone for a draw at the Etihad, Man City 1, Arsenal 1. Treble pays 500-1, but like we always say, let's try and get some money in the pot for prostate cancer.
Manchester City are unbeaten in the last 14 Premier League home games. And in 12 of those 14 home games, they've scored at least twice.
But you're playing against an Arteta's team where I think he's going to park that bus. Mascara, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié. They will sit back Arsenal.
And the last team to beat Manchester City were from North London at home in the Premier League. Do you know who it was?
Spurs Thomas Frank, wasn't it?
It was in the first game of the season, which was a remarkable match, and they played brilliantly, Tottenham, that day. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
We're getting in the fighting spirit next because one of Gabby's former teammates joins us next. Ross McCormack, ahead of his big fight tonight.
18th placed Tottenham Hotspur, very much down there and scrapping in the relegation zone. Tottenham fans reportedly have called off plans for another pre-match parade to welcome the team bus before Saturday's home game against Brighton.
Last time, didn't it?
Well, yeah, this is all to show a bit of passion and fervour. We're right behind the team, you know, etc., etc. But apparently they're calling it off. A statement by the organisers of Show Up, Sing Up, Stay Up campaign said they were disappointed at calling it off, but they support whatever Roberto De Zerbi sees fit in order for his players to have the best possible preparation. Apparently, De Zerbi decided his players will arrive at the stadium earlier and not by coach so that they avoid fans lining the pitch, as we saw pre the Nottingham Forest game. Is he right, De Zerbi, do you think? Is he taking the temperature down a bit?
Well, I assume he's got method to his madness. I mean, ultimately, the last time they did the show up, stand up, or whatever it was, didn't work so well, did it? They got beat 3-0 by Nottingham Forest. So I'm not so sure it's been proven to be something that has a proof of concept behind it.
Yeah.
The fans will be behind the players inside the stadium. Now, bless their little cotton socks. Maybe they don't need to be told how important it is to the fans, because it's only important to them, isn't it? Maybe that's part of the thinking. But De Zerbi is obviously trying to manage the game with the best intentions of making it as normal as possible, not heighten the expectation upon the players. Any more than the circumstances already will. They'll be well aware of the social media reactions. They'll be well aware of the linear broadcasters and all their opinions about it, and they're well aware of the responsibility.
It's talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor and Circus Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go. We're here till 1 this afternoon. H&J taking over from us. We've got live football tonight. Coventry going to try and get promoted later on this evening. And tomorrow, Crook is going to Fratton Park. Big game. Pompey's game's going to be massive tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, arguably is bigger now for Leicester than it is for Pompey. Who've picked up a couple of brilliant results. They can sort of taste safety. But if Leicester lose, looks like they're going to be in League One, and the Championship season finishes 10 years to the day that they won the title in the Premier League.
It was 10 years to the day, actually, yesterday that Aston Villa got relegated to the Championship. Season. It's amazing, isn't it?
I remember that game as well. We played Leicester away. Jack Reedy scored, and Leicester come back and beat us 2-1 or 3-2, and then went on to win the league. Yeah.
Amazing.
And we were talking to your pal Steve Jones.
Jones, yes, top guy.
Up in the box yesterday. What a legend. And he reminded me that the first season in the Championship, Villa finished 14th.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Let's speak to the former Leeds, Fulham, Villa and Scotland striker Ross McCormack, because set against the backdrop of the Merseyside derby weekend, an evening of boxing and entertainment takes place tonight at the prestigious Titanic Hotel in Liverpool. Good morning to you, Ross.
Morning, Ross.
Morning, guys. I like how you built that up, the fact that Aston Villa finished 14th in the Championship. That was my fault.
The good news is that you've got some fighting spirit about you, though, because you came back the year after and you're fighting tonight. Tell us about what this is. This is a night to remember too.
Yeah, it's a huge night. 10 ex-footballers fighting at the Titanic Hotel in Liverpool. It's for a good cause. It's for Merseyside charities, one for autism, one for a children's charity here in Merseyside. So a greater cause, and obviously it's a night that everyone can come and enjoy. So really looking forward to it.
And you're taking on the former Leeds and Sheffield United defender Matt Kilgallen, who is a self-professed boxing fanatic. What are your chances?
Oh, I don't want to give too much away. I didn't know he was a fanatic. I was hoping he'd never seen any boxing before in his life.
Ross, how much have you enjoyed, Ross, the training? Because I've been following your social media, and you really enjoyed it. You got into great shape now. It's a proper hard training, isn't it? Boxing, mate.
Gabby, I'm proper addicted, honestly.
I bet.
I've been looking for something for years, to get a bug back and get into shape and enjoy getting up in the morning and going and working out. And I've finally got it. I know it's a little bit late. I'm 39 years old now.
Never late, mate.
But it's something that, I'm really addicted to it. I just love it for the mental side of it as well. You probably know as well as me, Gabby, when you finish, trying to fill up your days and get something that you actually like doing is tough. So you become a little bit detached from what you've known for years. So to find this, it's more mentally for me that it's been perfect for.
It's one of the reasons why Graham Stack, the former Arsenal goalkeeper, actually founded this. He came into the studio to talk to us about it, not so long ago, actually. It's the aim to try and unite retired athletes in a sort of purpose-driven event, really get you going again. And it seems to have the effect on you. And have you noticed that with the rest of the guys that are training as well?
100%, Sam. I think, as we keep saying, the main thing is about the charity and helping these kids, raising as much as you possibly can. And I think it's an ideal event in terms of everyone probably at some point would love to see some footballers get their head punched in. so if they could come and donate some money to charity and watch that, I think everyone can have a great night.
What do you think of Villa's win last night?
Yeah, listen, I didn't expect anything less. Really glad for Ollie Watkins. Seems to be turning a bit of a corner just in time for the World Cup. I expect him to get into that squad, to be honest with you. He's a striker that I've always rated. I've said numerous times people were comparing him as Tammy Abraham, a better option. It's night and day for me. Ollie Watkins, a fantastic striker. But I expect Aston Villa to go on and win that. Gabby will be pleased to know that. It'll be tough, but I expect them to go on and win that.
Ross, I know you love your boxing now, but I know what else you love, and that is Leeds United. Big part of your football career. You're a big fan of those. Crookie doesn't really want to talk about it, but a comfortable win against Manchester United?
Very comfortable, Gabby, yes. Could not believe it. It was actually so comfortable. I think I counted the pass counter at like 20 or lays or something.
It was when they were doing the Olays. It was bad.
Unheard of. It was brilliant to see, but how comfortable they were in the first half. They could have been more ahead. I think if they win today, Leeds, I think they stay up. That'll be 39 points, I believe. I think that'll be enough. I can't see Spurs look shot to bits, don't they?
Ross, that's the thing, isn't it, about Leeds league wins at Old Trafford? They come around every 37 years.
Don't go for them ones.
Don't buy it. And if you are going to buy it,
mate, it'll beat you up.
If you are going to buy it, at least get a statistic right.
How many years was it?
45.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I was trying to do it in my head.
1981 the last time.
Oh, I thought it was 89.
No, 81.
Oh, there you go. Even I wasn't born the last time. There you
go. Listen, you've played with Gabby Agbonlahor and Usain Bolt in your career, weirdly enough. So who was faster?
I tell you what, Gabby had a lot of... Do you know what? I didn't play many games with Gabby. We sort of got swapped. When I came, Gabby was with the 16s.
With the bomb squad.
Yeah.
Ross.
And then when Steve Bruce took over, he brought Gabby in and shot me to the
16s. What about, Ross? I want to ask you quickly about Rangers, because I think with the bookies, they're probably favourites at the moment. Are you confident they can get it over the line? Or do you think Celtic will win the Scottish Premier League?
No, for me, I've said it for weeks, Gabby. I think Rangers are firm favourites. I think they've got the best team. I think when it comes down to the nitty gritty, someone's going to have to go and win, 3-4 of these games in the splits, and I don't see it being Hearts or Celtic. Celtic look a mile off it right now. It pains me to say it does, but they look a mile off of it. And I think Hearts will just run out of steam in the end. So I expect Rangers to win that league.
What do you think happens at the end of the season? Because I did hear a few whispers a few weeks back about Roberto Martinez maybe leaving Belgium and ending up as Celtic manager. Would you be in favour of
that? Listen, he's got good credentials, hasn't he? But
not Belgium.
For me personally, what I'd be looking at is I'd be looking to get the Motherwell manager in as soon as possible. What he's done this season with, no disrespect to the Motherwell players, but they're of a lower level than the players at Celtic. What he's been able to do with them players, I've never seen done before in the SPL. So I would love to see him at Parkhead, and I'm sure a lot of the Celtic fans would too.
Yeah, and for those people who don't know, he's got them playing brilliant football, hasn't he? Like really attractive football.
Yeah, I mean, probably a few weeks ago, at one point, I think they had the best defensive record as well in the whole of Europe in terms of the amount of goals that they've conceded. I think they conceded something like 16, 17 goals or something in the league season, which is remarkable for a club like Motherwell. So that's something that not a lot of people speak about. They want to talk about the attacking football and how many passes and all this possession nonsense and stuff. But in terms of, shutting the back door as well, they've been first class at that.
What do you think about the split and the fixtures? Because Super Ali McCoy was not very happy about the games that Celtic got.
To be honest with you, Gabby, I'm a fan of the split. I think there's a lot of jeopardy in it. Yes. But for me, the SFA need to have a look at themselves. I mean, you've got Celtic, Rangers and Hearts who are going for the league. So you've got 6 teams in the split. Can you not keep them 3 teams apart the last game of the season? Because what's going to happen is if Celtic are out of it and Rangers and Hearts are going for the title, you know fine well what's going to happen at Parkhead. Celtic are going to play the under-12s and let Hearts win the league.
We'll see what happens.
And rightly so.
Ross, thank you very much for joining us.
Good luck, mate.
The boxing tonight, a night to remember too. And got loads of great former footballers fighting one another, including Ross McCormack and Matt Kilgallen. You can watch it on the talkSPORT boxing YouTube channel tonight, so make sure you give it a watch. And if you want to find out more about it, then just Google A Night to Remember too. This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. Do you really with the 16s for that long?
Don't listen to Ross. Don't listen to him. This boxing's messing with his head.
Oh, right, okay. This is talkSPORT. Arsenal have got themselves to a Champions League semi-final. Might this end up being the amazing season that Arsenal and Arsenal fans have always been hoping it would be? Because they are well and truly in the Champions League. They are leading the way in the Premier League. Next stop is the Etihad on Sunday. Who's to say that it doesn't go pear-shaped and they do an incredible double? We're going to take so many Arsenal fans coming through this morning. They want to talk to us, Simon. Why are we, though, at a point where the last English team in the Champions League, Arsenal, are having to defend themselves? As I say, many people, like a mate of mine last night, yeah, we're through, but no creativity, no patterns of play, no attacking outlooks. Who cares? They're through. Chris, big Arsenal fan, good morning. Do you care?
Not really, no, Jim.
I didn't think you would, mate. What's your honest thought on this? Because so many critics are having a swipe at you.
To be honest, looking back, if that was Fergie or Mourinho back in the day, Going away, clean sheet, get the win. Come back, clean sheet, go through. Move on.
Yeah. So what do you think is driving this narrative of Arsenal? It's the way they're doing it, though. It's the way they're doing. You know, Arteta is saying the coverage they get at the moment, Chris, is more or less like the coverage a relegation threatened club would be getting.
It's a bit clunky, isn't it? As such, we're not going through playing smooth football, banging in goal.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan vans or head to your local Nissan van centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Chelsea's co-owner Gabby Agbonlahor admits getting rid of Enzo Maresca was not a change they wanted to make, and it's had a negative impact on the season, adding, "I think we're behind Liam Rosenior." Former midfielder Jody Morris can't see Chelsea making Champions League.
We used to be under Maresca. I felt we was better against the better teams. It was the lesser teams that we couldn't break down that was a bit of a problem. Now we've managed to get by them, and then we keep falling short of anybody that's decent.
Chelsea Man United is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Now, Arsenal invincible Lorenz told us all the pressure is on second place Man City. He's urging Mikel Arteta to go all out for 3 points on Sunday by playing Gyökeres up top alongside Martinelli and 16-year-old Max Dowman.
It's a big responsibility for a young lad, but I believe that he got the quality enough in order to take on play. Once Martinelli is high up on the pitch and stretching the team, he will put Max Dowman a little bit more central.
Before that, Liverpool go to Everton on Sunday. Alexander Isak is still not fit enough to play 90 minutes. Now, Coventry could seal promotion tonight with a draw at Blackburn. The game's live on talkSPORT 2 later. And Live Golf CEO Scott O'Neill's tried to dispel rumours the breakaway league's about to fold.
This notion of secret meetings and, getting summoned to New York. I live in New York, so it's easy to summon myself there. But it's it was a lot of reaching and grabbing for headlines and clickbait and stories.
He does admit Liv's finances are being managed very tightly at the moment. Liv's UK arm posted £341 million worth of losses in 2024.
talkSPORT News.
Sir Keir Starmer's under major pressure again this morning over the Mandelson scandal, and police in protective gear are investigating an ongoing incident in Kensington Gardens. Emma's got more on all of that in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. We now take American Express. More flexibility, same expert service. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Rain in the north and west, gradually spreading eastwards today. Ahead of the rain, mostly dry, bright and warm, blustery showers to follow.
Live commentary tonight from the Championship. Tomorrow, 2 back-to-back commentaries from the Premier League. Chelsea versus Manchester United is the later one of those. It kicks off at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Let's focus on the game now. Stuart Pearce and I will be there from 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Very much looking forward to it. And there's ramifications around the Champions League qualification. So who is the game bigger for? Because it's not just Champions League qualification, is it? It's managerial positions for next season that also need to be ratified. So who's under more pressure going into the weekend?
Well, there isn't any pressure on Liam Rosenior, is the briefing that we're getting from Chelsea, that they're going to make a judgment on him not until the end of next season. I think a lot of Chelsea fans maybe feel that'll be too late, depending on what happens between now and the end of the campaign. They were really disappointing, Chelsea, in the second half against Manchester City, and I wrote a comment piece for talksport.com underlying some of the problems that they're facing, and the fact, really, if you take the Port Vale game out of it, when obviously they won at a canter, they've won one of their last 7 against what I would call meaningful opponents. So they're not in great form.
Well, no, the amazing stat is, and it underscores why Chelsea supporters are so vociferous in their criticism at the moment, is that since the start of March, no side in Europe's big 5 leagues has lost more games in all competitions than Chelsea.
And there comes a time when the manager has to take some responsibility for that. I know you believe the problems go deeper than the man in the dugout at Chelsea, and that was very much the tone of the comment piece. But when your big players, Enzo Fernandez, Marc Cucurella, we're hearing Cole Palmer as well, are looking to potentially leave the club, you have to ask why. And, they obviously feel that Chelsea's ambitions don't match their own. So I think it makes it a big game for Chelsea, because it's not just they might not qualify for the Champions League. With that run of form you've talked about, with the teams clustering up in behind, they might not qualify for Europe at all.
Well, Moises Caicedo is going to commit his future to the football club, and then we'll talk about Chelsea and going forward in just a second, because Gabby Agbonlahor has been talking to a conference in the last 24 hours. But who do you think it's bigger for?
It's definitely bigger for Chelsea, because you look at the league table, if Chelsea were to lose this game, Aston Villa to win, that gap would go to, 10 points? Is that right, Cookie? Yep, 10 points. Aston Villa could be ahead of Chelsea. Listen, Chelsea's form has been horrendous. I mean, losing 1-0 to Newcastle, 3-0 to Everton, then 3-0 to Manchester City. After you watch that game against Aston Villa and they won 4-1, you're probably thinking, okay, Chelsea are gonna no problem get top 5. But players haven't been performing. I look at Neto.
How much of that do you put down to the fact they played all summer?
You can a little bit, but the players have had certain amount of rest, haven't they? You can't blame it on a competition that everyone seems to go on about is amazing. You're world champions. That can't come into consideration now. I look at some of the big players at Chelsea. Palmer, only 9 Premier League goals, 1 assist. Neto, 5 goals, 4 assists. Enzo Fernandez being suspended. He'll be big on the weekend being back. But look at Manchester United's team. No Maguire, no Martinez. Could be Heaven and Yoro. If you're Chelsea, get at them. João Pedro, get that form back, because this is a must-win game.
Well,
that's what I said. Yeah, this is the must-win game for Chelsea more than Manchester United.
Does Michael Carrick need to prove that he can get his team to bounce back after a rather insipid first 45 minutes in the game against Leeds United? I mean, they were much better when they went down to 10 players, really. And the draw at Bournemouth, I think, will be a bit of a disappointment as well.
Yeah, played well against Bournemouth. Probably deserved more out of the game, but certainly didn't deserve more out of the game on Monday night. The first half in particular, as you say, was, I called it an abomination. They were 1-0 down by the time I got into the ground. But I think it laid bare the lack of squad depth and why there's still a massive rebuild to be done, because you saw the importance of Harry Maguire. I thought Lily Yoro had a really poor night, got bullied by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Martinez didn't look fit and obviously got himself sent off. Ugarte was awful. Mazraoui, I don't know where Michael Carrick plucked him from. I'm not Dallow's biggest fan, but I certainly would have picked him ahead of Mazraoui. But there are big gaps in that squad. And again, you worry from a United perspective about the centre of defence. Looks like it'll probably be Yoro and Heaven, with Martinez and Maguire both suspended now. I might be tempted to play Casemiro in there rather than go with the 2 youngsters.
It was interesting you mentioned about the big players that reportedly want to leave Chelsea or are talking about leaving Chelsea. But Reece James signed a new contract. Moises Caicedo is about to follow. Levi Colwill, we understand, is going to follow soon. Are these bumper new contracts a show of faith in the Chelsea project by some of the senior stars, or proof that there is a limit to the stack them high ideology?
I think it's convenient for Caicedo to be signing a new deal. I remember when Ashley Young was moving to Manchester United, my agent went into the football club. He was under Gerard Houllier, rest in peace. And he said to them, what about some good news, local lad, Gabby Agbonlahor signing a new deal. It will soften the blow of Ashley Young leaving.
He's played a blinder there.
Honestly, I signed a 5-year deal on really, really, really good money.
And that's why that gaff looks like that.
But I'm saying, certain times, new contracts for key players can be convenient. I feel like that's what's happened with Caicedo.
So you think they're announcing these contracts just because it makes them look better in the shape of fan upset, which there is, because the Chelsea Supporters Trust sent a letter, an open letter, and it was quite a long one, but it was full of disgruntlement, saying there was a lack of confidence in the club's ownership, saying that they'd sort of given some information about how they felt after a survey earlier in the year, and they had no response, etc., etc., etc. But in response to it, Gabby Agbonlahor has told the Chelsea supporters that the owners, Blueco, are learning from their mistakes and are committed to bringing consistent success back to Stamford Bridge, which didn't seem to be the tone that was coming out of the club earlier in the season. Speaking at CAA's World Congress of Sports Conference in Los Angeles, Clear Lake founder and co-owner Agbonlahor admitted that Blueco are still looking to improve their ownership strategy, but it reiterated that they care about maintaining Chelsea's modern standards of consistently competing for the biggest trophies. Some big quotes here, and I'll try and do some of them in sort of like an order which makes them palatable. But let's just talk about the hinting of the potential change of direction. He said, I think we've done a few things right, a lot of things right. We've got better on a few things, but we're going to add more ready-made players as part of the project to take it to the next level, to be consistent over time. And that's something that the Chelsea supporters, we've been talking about it for ages, by the way, need to hear, I think.
Yeah, but actions speak louder than words. And it's going to take a real deviation from what they've done so far to get Chelsea back to challenging for Premier League titles and Champions League titles, in my opinion. They need a bit more experience in that dressing room, something you've been crying out for all season. We know they've looked at Marcus Senesi. Looks like they're not going to go down that path, and potentially Tottenham, if they stay up, a more likely destination. But they need that sort of seasoned Premier League campaigner. I don't think he's good enough, Senesi, to win Premier League titles and Champions League, but certainly the defence could do with a little bit of help and just more leaders in that dressing room, because they played well in the first half against Man City, but as soon as they conceded, the shoulders were slumped and there was nobody really driving.
And City
them
didn't
on.
really get out of second gear in that first 45 minutes. But I don't think you're 100% right on that. I don't think it is a massive deviation from what they're doing at the moment. I think you can do pretty much 80% of what the way they're operating right
Exactly.
now and add in.
It's not hard,
Sam.
Sam,
sprinkling of experience.
It's not rocket science, is it?
But it would be eating a fair bit of humble pie, would it?
Yeah, but it's not rocket science to say, you know what, yeah, we want to get younger players, we want them to have sell-on value, but you know what, we're going to get a few experienced players, centre-half, Chalobah, Fofana, Hato. These players are not going to get Chelsea where they want to go. Go out and bring in 2 top centre-halves. Stop going for the young ones. Go and get experienced centre-halves that have been there and done it. Goalkeeper, stop messing around. Sanchez is crap. Go and get a proper goalkeeper, because you get 2 top centre-halves, a top goalkeeper, maybe a better number 9 to help João Pedro. I don't think Delap is good enough. I would loan him out, even to Ipswich if they come up. Go and fill these positions with experienced players, and you've got no problem next season, Chelsea finishing higher in the table.
I've got a question. Yeah, finishing higher in the table, but with Egbali there is talking about getting them back to challenging for major silverware for the Premier League, for the Champions League. I think they're a long way from that. I'm going to ask you as a Chelsea man.
Yes.
How many of these players do you think get into the team that they basically inherited, the team that won the Champions League under Thomas Tuchel?
Well, do you know what? That's the big issue, is that they're always going to be compared against that team that won the Champions
that's the
League
standard.
in 2021, because one, that is the standard that has been set by the football club, and two, because that is the team that they dismantled when they walked through the door. So of those players, most of them have left the club. The match winners certainly have left the club. You're left with Chalobah, who was on the bench that night and didn't get on the pitch, and Reece James, obviously, who was part of it. But apart from that, everybody else has disappeared and been allowed to go on. Now, there were some experienced players in that team, and some of them would have come to the end of their career by now anyway. But it was the systematic dismantling of that team which led to Chelsea tumbling away from competing for major honours. And you can say, OK, in subsequent years, they did get to FA Cup finals. They did get to the sort of latter stages of the Champions League.
And world champions.
They have become world champions and won the Conference League, even though you, tongue-in-cheek, sort of deride that competition. The fact is that from a PR point of view, actually, that's very, very useful. But Chelsea fans don't want to be winning the Premier League every year. They're not demanding to see that. What they're demanding is that you compete. And I said this on Sunday, and the reason you wrote your article was because I had a little bit of a rant. And we sat in that little press box.
Well, you gave me the idea.
And I said, the issue here is that the reason that people have left after 70 minutes is because they no longer recognise this football club for what it was. They're not being taken seriously by other football clubs as rivals because they don't do what they've done for many years, which is compete for top honours. And they haven't won a title every year, even going back when Mourinho was there and Roman Abramovich was in charge. But they were up there. They were competing.
You haven't answered the question, though. How many of this team get in that Champions League winning team? How many of these...
Well, I haven't got the Champions League winning team.
But how many of these players are genuinely at the level where they can compete for the Premier League and the Champions League? That's my question.
Well, Cucurella probably plays because he's
Reece James,
he's
top player.
He's terrific. Caicedo obviously is excellent. Enzo Fernandez on his day is brilliant. I'd probably have
Estevao, you love
Estevao in the team, and I'd have Cole Palmer in the team. So there'd be quite a sizable proportion of them that would get into the team.
Look at Chelsea's recent history. You know, the Mourinho era. Czech, Terry, Carvalho, even Alex. We used to play against Alex as a centre half.
Forget that.
Top centre half.
It's just the Ashley Cole, Petr Cech, John Terry, Frank Lampard. Those
Didier
four
Drogba.
players. Didier Drogba. That set of five is the spine that runs through that team, and it's the thread that ran through it for 50
Well, if you look at that team now, though, of course, if you look at that team now, though, put 2 top centre halves and a top keeper in that back five.
And
And
you're
you tell me Chelsea won't be 10 points better off?
You're not going to get that again. But well, listen, we've been talking. I've been blowing this trumpet for the last how long? What, year and a half?
Yeah.
Saying this is not going to work under
No,
this current
no,
guise.
no,
You have to have experience, because all the talk has always been about Brighton, right? And about how they copied the Brighton model, and Brighton got similar outcomes for 20% less in wages or whatever it is. Well, great, yeah. But Brighton also have experienced players in their team. They've always had that. They've always had that sort of older professional that helps pass a bit of wisdom down to some of those younger players that they're bringing through. And when they went through a sticky patch earlier in the season under Fabian Hürzeler, what did they do? They named all the experienced players in the team, and they won 5 of the last 6.
Do you know what I noticed in that second half, though, against Manchester City? Players stopped running. Yeah. João Pedro was running.
So poor.
Palmer was throwing his hands up at João Pedro. He's giving it him back. It just doesn't look healthy at the moment, that squad of players.
It was interesting also, Liam Rossini was asked at his press conference yesterday, do the players still believe they can get in the Champions League? Now, obviously, he's going to come out and say, yes, we do.
No, he said, why did you ask that question?
Yeah, and it's not a stupid question, because they're only 2 points ahead of 10th. So it's all well and good saying, you know, we're still competing for the Champions League. If I was Liam Rossini, I'd be looking over my shoulder rather than up the table, because the danger could be lurking from behind.
And
as
you're
opposed to those
talking about
above
teams
you.
coming from behind you,
Yeah.
not just
Yep.
someone tapping him on the shoulder and saying, we've had enough, fella.
Yeah.
Because the
Sorry,
other
it was an
quote-
unfortunate analogy, that one.
The other quote on doing the rounds this weekend is Begdad Agbonlahor talking about Rossini, saying, on Liam, we had the opportunity to work with him daily for 18 plus months, so we knew what we were getting. We think he has every attribute to be successful here. He got off to a great start. We had a tough past 5-6 matches, but I think we are behind Liam. Of course, it's a results business, but we think we can be successful with him long term.
He thinks a lot, doesn't he? I think we are behind Liam.
I think that's just a turn of phrase.
Yes.
The ref tried to bring that up and sort of suggest that was sort of almost sort of caveating whether or not they were behind him. But my suggestion on that was, if you listen to the audio, I haven't listened to it, but I'm guessing it's just the way he was talking.
Listen, I think Liam Rossini is a good coach. I find him quite a likeable person. Is he equipped to take Chelsea to where they were? I'm not sure.
My worry when he got the job was
they've obviously worked with him a lot more, and they think that he's got something. He did a very good job at Strasbourg.
Well, my worry, Sam, was when he first got the job, and I know a lot of other people said the same, will he get the respect of the players? You got World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez in there. You got some big characters. When you're taking players
really
off
to earn it, isn't it?
Exactly,
Over
but
the
because
course
of
of
his
time.
past jobs as a manager, will you get that respect straight
speak to
away?
people in football, a lot of people like working with him. A lot of people think he's a really good coach.
Of course, I agree.
You know, look at what Wayne Rooney thinks he's absolutely brilliant. Wayne Rooney had him at Derby as assistant manager. A lot of credit went to Liam Rossini for the work that was done there. He went to Hull. He didn't have a bad time at Hull. They made a change because he wanted a different type of football. And Achun Ikali, who we know, said the reason he changed it was because he likes Liam, he gets on with him fine, but he was bored by the style of football. He didn't want that.
He also felt that they had a squad more than good enough to finish in the playoff places, and obviously they missed out, albeit on the last day of the season. My question, and again,
Subsequently, the next season, they got relegated.
Yeah, agreed. But a lot of those players left because they had a lot of expensive loan players at the time, if you remember. But again, the question I put in the article, and this is not me trying to berate Liam Rossini at all, but how many other clubs right at the top of the Premier League, your Liverpools, your Manchester Uniteds, your Manchester Cities, your Arsenals, even your Aston Villa, if a job becomes available, are they going to appoint the guy who's just been fired by Hull?
Not necessarily, but also he went to Strasbourg and did a really good job and upset the orthodoxy and got into the European places. So that you can say that about the Hull. That was 2 years ago.
But he still wouldn't be in.
He didn't finish back.
He wouldn't be in contention now. You know, if he was still at Strasbourg.
Michael Carrick has just been fired by Middlesbrough and he's now the Manchester United manager.
Yes, but he has a link with Manchester United. It's a completely different scenario. Gabby, do you agree with me?
When you talk about Aston Villa, Manchester United, I don't think Liam Rossini will do. The fact that he's worked at Strasbourg, which is part of the Chelsea ownership, it's obviously he's been given a job for the reason.
We know that.
We're not daft, but he deserves a chance. But I just look at some.
Mean he's a bad coach.
No, not at all. But I look at some of the egos in that Chelsea squad. I watch them when they're coming on, when they're getting taken off by this manager, and they look like, you know, toys out the pram. Even Cole Palmer at times, when he's getting taken off and he's looking at him like, me? Neto the same. Garnacho when he comes on.
To be fair, he looked
are you
like
ready
that
to come on?
towards Donald Trump at the ceremony.
I think everyone would with Trump.
The World Cup. Look, I do think that he's not the only one, by the way, but I think there's a few managers that probably need to have a bit of a day with a PR consultant about the way they conduct themselves and
Totally
some of
agree.
the things that they say
Arteta
in public.
can
You
be
know,
there as
but
well.
he's another one of those as well that, you know, just say things that people just
Respectable,
get baffled by.
yeah.
You know, and then when I know they're trying to defend their players and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's just like, okay,
just have a normal press conference
and
just
take
speak
it down a
just
little
speak
notch.
normally.
Talk
please.
like normal people, and we'll
Yeah.
be all right for a little while. But listen, I don't think it detracts from the fact that I think he will be a good coach in the future. Chelsea hope it's going to be there. That game against Manchester United is live on talkSPORT at 8 o'clock tomorrow. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
We're here till 1 o'clock with Selco Builders Warehouse.
Bring Klopp in for 12 months. Let Klopp be the manager and let Gerrard shadow him for 12 months. Let him learn from him.
What are you on about?
And then let Gerrard bring in his own team, because every Liverpool fan in the country, and I know they're listening to this now, would love Gerrard and Carragher on that touchline at some point.
Bobby, what are you on about?
You don't think it's happening?
It's extreme, but...
What do you mean it's extreme? Jurgen Klopp's not coming to Liverpool for 12 months to teach Steven Gerrard how to be the Liverpool manager. What are you on about?
That's not
Why
happening,
not?
Bob. It's
What
not.
do you mean, why not?
I think.
What do you mean, why
there's worse
not?
Things that have happened in football.
Do you think
I
this
there's
is
worse
charity?
things that have happened in football. No, but I think there's worse things that have happened in football.
Jurgen Klopp is not taking over Liverpool.
No, you ain't doing it.
No, I'm not saying on a permanent basis. I'm saying if he was shadowed.
Bobby.
Don't let Bob talk. Bob,
No, but
don't think that's
Bob,
ridiculous
we speak to you
at all.
quite a lot, right? And you normally come out with some decent stuff, but that is absolute guff.
I don't think it is.
No, it is, mate. You're miles off it. You're miles off it. Jurgen Klopp's not
The
going to
worst
turn up
things
at
have happened in
Liverpool, come back for 12 months to shadow
Worst
Steven
things have happened in
Gerrard.
football.
What do you think this is?
No, worse things have happened in football. Well, that's what they'd be doing if they brought Alonso in, if they wanted to bring Steven in as his number two. I just think the club have got to be bold. You know, they've been bold in the transfer market. Why not be bold with future decisions going forward?
Well,
you know,
it
and
does.
it would get the fans on side and all of that.
I mean, if Bob's coming up with his own version of what my hopes happens, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Fans can dream. Get Klopp back.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a
12
dream on a
months.
wish list, is there?
Yeah, but, you know, you've got to be realistic, Bob. It ain't happening.
It's not
I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't happening.
talkSPORT tonight. It's Coventry Blackburn. Coventry just need a point to guarantee promotion, although, I know Gabby was getting his calculator and his little tally table chart out earlier on, but looking at the points difference between them and Millwall, my math tells me they're already up by the shouting. Goal difference could swing in Millwall's favour if they won every game 5-0 between now and the end of the season, and Coventry lost every game 5-0 between now and the end of the season. But Coventry are going to go up, and it's a good thing for them. It's part of our coverage tonight. We'll be giving you live commentary of that. And tomorrow, I know that Crook is doing the game at Portsmouth against Leicester. That's a 12:30 start on talkSPORT 2. But the 3 p.m. talkSPORT 2 commentary, we've switched that because Ian Danter and Mickey Gray have decided to go to Swansea versus Southampton because the Wrexham game that we were going to do, not as impactful, was Southampton having the potential to draw level with Ipswich. So very nimbly, Dance is going to go down the road to Swansea instead and bring you live commentary of Swansea versus Southampton. So a big weekend of EFL action. I think Southampton might well get that last automatic promotion place. And if they do, they'll come up with Coventry City. And you're delighted to have them back in the Premier League.
I am, yes. I do like Coventry. People think there's a rivalry between Coventry and Aston Villa. There isn't. I'm happy for Frank Lampard as well. What he's been through in his managerial career at Everton and Chelsea. He's left all that noise behind. Unlucky last season to not get promoted. Got his head down. Great group of players. But like I said off air, Sam, the savage bit about being a manager and getting promoted is already you're thinking which players aren't good enough for the Premier League. I'll have some uncomfortable conversations with players over the next month.
He might be in demand himself, Frank Lampard, because I know Steve Parish down at Crystal Palace has always been an admirer, and they've got a vacancy this summer. Do you think, is there a scenario where he takes Coventry up and then jump ship?
Listen, he had to leave Derby when Chelsea came calling before, but I don't think he's going to make a big move like that after what has been a brilliant season, and he's been given an opportunity by Coventry. He's done a brilliant job there. And taking them back to the Premier League is
been
massive.
through a lot, haven't they, Coventry fans?
So he's also, they've been through an absolutely mammoth journey with all of the financial problems that they've had, the fact that they were evicted from the Ricoh Arena as it was, and now it's the CBS, and they're touring around playing games at St Andrews and other places, and he's been on a journey as well because from Derby to the playoffs, taking a Chelsea side under a transfer embargo to the Champions League qualification, keeping Everton in the Premier League. I suppose this sort of just underscores him as a proper manager.
You know what I like about it as well, Sam?
It's probably his biggest managerial achievement.
Do you know what I like about it as well is that managers and teams might have this season not done it after last season. What they went through Coventry, last-minute goal against Sunderland in the playoffs.
They were a better team in that.
Exactly, and he's probably galvanised the squad in the summer and says, listen, we're good enough. Little few tweaks and improvements, a couple more players in. Yep, next season we're going to go and win. And that's what they've done.
I'm delighted he's getting the credit that he deserves. He took them from 17th in the table when he walked through the door and into the players. And there's been a lot of detractors. Obviously, it's a bit like the Arsenal thing. They like to sort of everyone likes to sort of pick at people who have been successful and sort of say, oh, he hasn't done it. He's not a very good manager, this, that, and the other. But he's proved everybody wrong, and I'm quite pleased about that.
Yes, me
too. And you know what? And I said this about Wayne Rooney as well. And listen, I'm the first to have a pop at managers, as I'm sure you're about to remind me. But he doesn't.
With that, you do it yourself.
Yeah, but
Go on, Alex. Own up.
Well, he doesn't need to do this financially. It would be much easier for Frank Lampard to count his millions as a player, sit in a television studio. He'd be a good pundit. He obviously wants to be a manager. He's taken on some difficult jobs. This was a difficult job, following in the footsteps of Mark Robbins, a club legend. The fans didn't want him at the time. Universally, they were calling this station and saying this is a bad appointment. So I think he deserves a tremendous.
Just shows that, when ex-players love football and want to be a coach, it doesn't matter. Like he says, financially, doesn't matter to Frank Lampard. He wanted to have another go. Look at Steven Gerrard now. We had him on a month ago. He wants to get back into being a manager. It's their love for the game.
Of course he does. Absolutely. We'll talk about other managers that have got a love for the game, but whose futures might be a little bit different next season. That's coming next. This is talkSPORT.
Am I right in thinking, Simon, Andoni Iraola, in the past, he's someone who's caught your eye? Down at Bournemouth, you've been impressed.
Can't not do, can you? I mean, he's done a remarkable job at times. I mean, predecessors of his did remarkable jobs contextually, but he's elevated it even beyond that. The style of play, the manner in which they put some of the biggest teams into their box. They've had players repeatedly sold from underneath them, and yet still managed to produce a talent pool. They've had players sold at the beginning of the seasons, players at the middle of the seasons, and yet the guy has worked the oracle. He started slightly tentatively, didn't he? Because obviously you saw the Gary O'Neill situation where he got bounced out of Bournemouth and everyone thought that was an injustice. This guy came in, couldn't win a game. Gary went over to Wolves. Wolves beat Bournemouth inevitably in that particular game, and everything was looking like a particularly dark day. But he's been brilliant for Bill Foley. Bournemouth's been brilliant for him because it's given him a passage into the Premier League and shown an opportunity to show his trade.
Yeah.
But he looks to me like a manager that's going in one direction, and that's up. And the question will be, how will he go when he manages bigger players in a bigger football club that has bigger expectations than Bournemouth, irrespective of Bill Foley saying that they can afford whoever they choose?
Yeah, well, the direction we know he's going in is the exit door, because he'll leave the football club at the end of this season when his contract expires. Do you think, Danny, he's going to be widely coveted across the Premier League?
There's no reason why not, because he's unapologetically himself in the way Bournemouth play. If you ever watch Bournemouth play, always better to watch them live, and I've had the pleasure of doing that quite a few times. He sets up his team really bravely to go after teams.
A bombshell from Chelsea's co-owner, Bedad Egbali. He's admitted getting rid of Enzo Maresca was not a change the board wanted to make, and that it's had a bit of a negative impact on the season. talkSPORT spoke to former Chelsea keeper Mark Bosnich.
Obviously something's happened behind the scenes, but it seemed to have completely derailed Chelsea. The Enzo Fernandez thing really summed it up in a lot of ways, leaving him out and then having the result. And obviously Liam Rosenior is under a lot of pressure.
At a conference in LA, Egbali says, "I think we're behind Liam Rosenior." Chelsea next play against Man United, and it's live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Ahead of Coventry possibly sealing Premier League promotion later, former Coventry midfielder George Boateng told us speculation over Frank Lampard's managerial future is understandable.
Sometimes you think that the grass is greener somewhere else, but you build this fantastic team. Can you add more addition to it and stay where you are and become a hero for Coventry City fans? Well, you are already a hero, but can you become a legend?
Cov will go up if they avoid defeat at Blackburn, live on talkSPORT 2 tonight. Meanwhile, Unai Emery is looking forward to a very special Europa League semi-final.
It's important for both teams, and we have something similar. Those clubs won the Champions League. 2 times Nottingham Forest they have won.
Forest booked their showdown with Villa after a nervy 1-0 win over 10-man Porto at the City Ground. An injury to Callum Hudson-Odoi is a concern for Forest and their relegation battle. They host Burnley on Sunday lunchtime. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace players were allowed a night out in Florence. More Thursday night thrills for the fans. Palace face Shakhtar Donetsk in their Conference League semi. And there's more, as ever, on talkSPORT.com.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. We're here right the way through until 1 o'clock this afternoon. This week, Charlotte Robson, Jack Cunningham and Ollie Klink have been discussing Johan Visser on the latest edition of Inside the Toon.
This is probably one of our worst signings ever. Like, it's just been terrible in this modern era, maybe, but it's just been a terrible signing.
Yeah. Does he have any respect for the club? It just feels to me like he doesn't.
But what's so strange about it is when he signed, he was going about, we watched Papa Cisse and Demba Ba and Newcastle was the move he wanted. I have seen nothing on the pitch to suggest that. Walking around, just offering, doesn't do anything on the ball, doesn't do anything off the ball.
He looked very unfit when he came back as well.
Yeah. So he's wearing the number 9 shirt for Newcastle United. We have had, and there's Shearer behind you there, we've had some incredible players wear that shirt, and he is disrespectful.
Is he the worst number 9 they've ever had?
It's disrespectful of the shirt, how bad he's been. It really is. You are wearing an iconic shirt for an iconic football club, and you are walking around the pitch, putting in nothing, not getting the end of anything. It's like playing with men. It's like a ghost up front.
And then on top of that, doing those off-pitch things.
And then doing those off-pitch things. Just read the room.
Don't forget that you can watch all the latest episodes of the Inside series live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. Go to talkSPORT's YouTube channel to do that now. That's all thanks to BetMGM. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Oh, mate, it's cooking.
Can you two just concentrate on what you're supposed to be doing? Why are you talking?
I was just asking him why we've not got Inside Villa. I said, did we only do the big
you see this, Sam? You see, like, he threw a few digs out today about Villa.
Yes.
But last night, he was like, I said to him in front of some of the lads, I says, what do you think of Aston Villa? Alex said, a great team.
Yeah.
Lovely stadium, great clubs, great fans.
I can't believe it's taken you this long, and you've been on this show since, what, January now?
Yes.
You've this long to know that he basically will just jump on whatever horse is running in the right direction at that time.
Does that mean I can get in that lounge every week?
Yes. He was like, hello to everyone, Sam. Oh, great club, great. Oh, yeah, lovely. Oh, the gin, lovely, great gin. You know,
great gin. Was it special Aston Villa gin?
You are funny.
Yeah, it was a little bit flat, actually.
Do they bottle it? Right, okay. Let's talk about Eddie Howe and Andoni Iraola very quickly, because these two managers meet the weekend. Both going to be former Bournemouth managers soon. Newcastle taking on Bournemouth this weekend. Eddie Howe says this morning that his fire still burns.
Yeah, he does. Obviously, there's been a lot of flack coming his way from Newcastle fans, I'm sure, but even during that show of which you just showed a clip there. It's been a tough season, and you know the number of points they've thrown away from winning positions is a problem, highlighted again at Crystal Palace last weekend. But he's a fighter, Eddie, and you'd expect him to come out and say that and believe that he can turn things around, but it's a massive summer. You know, there's more and more stories coming out about players wanting away. Anthony Gordon linked with Bayern Munich and Arsenal. I'm told that interest is genuine. Tonali's agent was touting around in January, and he'll do so again in the summer. And Livramento won't sign a new contract, so it's going to be
what about Lewis Hall, Miley, Lewis Hall?
Lewis Hall's locked in, I think. He's got a long-term deal.
What about Miley, PSR?
Miley's got a little bit of interest as well. Yeah.
How much is Anthony Gordon worth? £80 million was sort of seen to be quoted. I think someone said 60 million.
Too low, I think.
80 million quid, I think more seems to be about right. But Bayern Munich, why would they be interested when they've got Elise, Musiala, Gnabry, Diaz?
It's a lot of money for cover, isn't it?
It is.
Because Diaz has been fantastic. I mean, Liverpool would love
does
to have
that
him
mean
back.
he's more likely to go somewhere in the Premier League?
I think he's going to go somewhere where if someone's paying 80 million, you're a starter. You're not a cover.
He wants to go to Liverpool, doesn't he?
Martinelli at Arsenal.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
he would love to. He would love to go back to Liverpool.
That was close.
He's a boyhood Liverpool fan. He'd love to go back there.
I think he's good enough for Liverpool. I don't know.
You say about his numbers being good this season. Most of his goals have come in the Champions League. He hasn't scored that many goals from open play in the Premier League
as well. Yeah,
but I think he's a terrific footballer, actually, personally. And to me, he would start in the England team.
Is he playing within himself for Newcastle?
I don't think he's that sort of character. I think he is a very dedicated, very hard-working footballer who's absolutely 100% trying to get the best out of everything he's got. He spends a lot of time away from the game reading books about previous champions of different types of sports to get little bits of edge to try and maximise the marginal gains. He's very focused on performance.
You talk about that mutant Liverpool that nearly happened. have the Newcastle fans been the same with Anthony Gordon since?
No.
Whenever I watch games, there seems to be an edge. If he does one little thing wrong, there's moans and groans. The relationship doesn't look healthy, does it, between Anthony Gordon and the fan base? So maybe it's best for both parties if they do get the right fee for him and use that money elsewhere, Newcastle.
I've seen a lot of stories about Live Golf this week as well, and I was reading a bit of an article about what's going to happen there over the next 12 months. Now, I don't know. I'm not big on Live Golf, but it does feel as if like the PIF are just sort of reassessing some of their investment opportunities. Does that extend to Newcastle United as well?
Wouldn't surprise me. I think the whispers have been there for a while, going back to last summer, that maybe the owners are not quite as all in as they were. Obviously, David Hopkinson pushed back on that when we had him on the show up in Newcastle.
So did Scott McNeil, the CEO of Live Golf.
Yeah.
And then he had to send an email out yesterday.
Yeah. I think it's a concern if I'm a Newcastle fan, because they've just sold off shares in one of their clubs in Saudi Arabia as well, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They sold it to one of the royal family.
Also, Bournemouth, what an attractive job that is for someone, by the way.
So why does Iraola not want it?
Has he took Bournemouth as far as he can? Is he looking at the Bilbao job? Is that something he's looking at?
I don't know. Let's hear from him, because he's been talking about it this morning for the first time.
It's been a decision that has taken me a lot of time to take. It has not been a clear decision. Always during this process, almost this season, no? I've been talking to the club about the situations. They were very aware that this could happen, and there is not always one main reason. No, I think the decision I've taken is because probably I don't want to risk, the feeling I have right now of satisfaction of these 3 seasons, and you try to envision yourself in a possible 4th season, in a possible 5th season, and everything costs more. We as human beings, we get tired of watching always the same faces, and I suppose I've decided that this was the right moment, to put an end, to this journey that for me has been really, really special.
Yeah, he seems to want to leave on a high, which is good for Bournemouth and good for Bournemouth fans. He does look a little bit different this week than he did last week. He looks
He's had a glow up.
Smarter. He's had a haircut. He's in the shop window. Where does he land?
And my pen and my table back, please. Thank you, mate. Yeah, thank you.
You can do your own research every now and again.
Can't take my pen as well.
He's only got the league table.
All week about this article that he's wrote on the website, which came from the fact that I had a rant on Sunday, and he thought, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that. Whilst we were sitting in the press box, he then rings me on Wednesday and says to me, any chance you can help me out with some notes on for Thursday night?
Oh,
What's
really?
happening with Aston Villa? Can you tell me?
Can you try and stay on subject? You do deviate a lot and go off at, cul-de-sacs. Where is Iraola going to go? Some people tell me he's a shoe-in for Athletic Bilbao. Some people tell me Edin Terzic is getting that job. Some people talk about Bayer Leverkusen.
So you don't know.
Some people suggest that Newcastle could be an option if Eddie Howe goes. I don't think he's decided yet, but I think he has decided, as Gabby said, that he's taken Bournemouth as far as he can.
What next for Bournemouth, mate?
My understanding is that they offered him the highest paid contract they've ever offered anybody in their history. Player, manager. And to be fair, he didn't take the money. He said, no, the time is right to move on. I think Marco Rosa is probably going to get that job, the former Borussia Dortmund and RB Leipzig man.
Why'd you keep touching his piece of paper?
I'm just looking at Bournemouth in the table. But it's a tough gig because, as you know, the financial rules are changing.
Yeah.
It's going to be squad cost ratio, much like the UEFA model. And because Bournemouth have got the smallest ground in the Premier League, they're going to suffer from that more than anybody else. So I see a scenario where maybe more big-name players go. We know Senesi's leaving on a free transfer. Alex Scott's got a lot of interest as well. So it's going to be
even a young lad, Ryan. Like
he's got €100 million release.
He's a very good player.
Well,
he'll go to World Cup as well.
We mentioned that, didn't we, the other week when we said he's had such a good start that actually he's going to come under scrutiny. And it's the same with Crook, who's played brilliantly.
Yes.
Their scouting has been so good.
Fair.
And but he was been excellent replacement.
And only
I thought he would be actually because I saw him quite a lot last year.
I know Crook is looking for them in the table. 3 points behind Chelsea.
Yes.
And they've got a brilliant owner in Bill Foley and a really good sporting director.
Going to get him on soon, Bill Foley.
Well.
Yeah, that's why he's saying
we'll
he's a
get him
brilliant
on.
owner.
Yeah. No, genuinely, I think
very nice.
I think he's a fabulous owner. I met him before he bought the football club. I thought you're the real deal, and he's proved it.
And he calls you Crookie. Which is always the first
Friends!
mark of a great
Own a
person,
friend.
as you well know. 0371 722 3344. Interesting to see what happens with those two and Anthony Gordon. I think it's going to be a big summer of change in the Premier League. And managerial-wise, I spoke to someone actually who knows that sort of close to the Iraola deal this week, and they were sort of saying, he's almost keeping himself open because he knows there's going to be a lot of big jobs that are coming around.
Yes.
And he's basically at that point now where he thinks, if I leave on a high with a big reputation, someone might come and get me. Be interesting.
Spot on.
This is talkSPORT.
The debate goes on. The hair-pulling debate goes on because Manchester United, we now learn, plan to appeal against the red card given to Lisandro Martinez for pulling the hair of Leeds United striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Here's the thing. For the dismissal to be overturned, United have got to successfully argue to the FA that Paul Tierney made an error in sending Martinez off. Going to get Danny's take on this because this isn't going to finish yet, not anytime soon. Michael Carrick said this about the sending off and the incident.
Shocking decision to send Leach off. It's 2 games in a row we've had decisions like that go against us, but that one I have to say was one of the worst I've seen. So you can elbow Lenny Yoro for the first goal in the side of the head, leaning on obviously, and then you can throw your arm in Leach's face, and then as he's off balance because of that, and he half grappler and he kind of half touches the back of his ear, which then pulls the bobble out, which then leads to look like I don't even know what it looks like. It's not a pull, it's not a tug, it's not aggressive. He touches it and he gets sent off, and worse of all, he was actually sent to overturn it, clear and obvious error. It's shocking.
Shocking according to him. Not so Martin Samuel in the Times. Now we know where we stand. Players, coaches, supporters, everybody. Hair pulling may be a playground tactic, but it is a red card offence and a 3-match ban. Got that? Good. Now we can move on. Do you move on from it, Danny?
Carry.
What you got planned for the rest of the afternoon, by the way, boys? You got a big weekend?
I'm going back to cookies.
Fire up the hot tub.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
See, it only takes one night with Crookie, and all of a sudden he's getting you in his hot tub.
Yeah, you're hooked. You're addicted to him.
That's it. That's what happens. Big game on Sunday lunchtime, which we'll cover on Game Day Live. We're on air from 1:30. It's Everton against Liverpool. It's the first meeting of the Merseyside Giants in the new Hill Dickinson Stadium. Before the game, Everton will unveil a plaque to those who died in the Hillsborough disaster as well. And it hasn't been a happy hunting ground for Everton all season, but they have picked up there recently. What are their chances of beating Liverpool, do you think?
I love their performance against Chelsea. They never sat back. They went for them on the front foot, beating them 3-0. I think they beat Liverpool. I really do. I look at this Liverpool side. Ekitike, who's probably been their standout player, attacking-wise this season's obviously out with a horrific Achilles injury that I've been through. Isak, he's not going to be up to speed yet. I think it was a weird decision to start him midweek. Salah, of course, he's not at the races. If he plays young Rio Ingamoa, then I think Liverpool will be a better team.
Well, he's the biggest spark they've got at the moment.
But I look at Everton as well, and I'm really liking what they're doing. Dewsbury Hall, I really like. Beto and Barry are scoring goals. This is their best chance to get a result against Liverpool.
Liverpool's performance against PSG, was it one of the best of the season so far?
Yeah, but that's not saying much. You know, the bar is set pretty low. And I think the general consensus from our newspaper colleagues reporting on the game was, where has this type of performance been all season? Because clearly they've got it in their locker and they've not shown it often enough. This is, again, a game where all the pressure is on the visitors. You mentioned Mo Salah there. He's got a tremendous record in Merseyside derbies. This will be the last one that he plays in. Will it be the perfect farewell? It's not really been that kind of storyline for Liverpool this season, has it? How much bad luck can one club have, even with the injury to Ekitike? You mentioned Rio and Gamoa there. I know you're close to Thomas Tuchel. You're basically best phone friends.
True.
If Bukayo Saka is in trouble with this injury for the World Cup, could that open the door for someone like Ngamoa? Because I'm told Thomas Tuchel's a big fan.
Do you know what? I am a little bit surprised that there hasn't been more talk about it. Because there was obviously quite a lot of talk about Dowman for a couple of weeks. Everyone was sort of talking about that. In fact, he was asked about it in the March press conference. But no one's really sort of brought up Rio Ngamoa. But if you talk about impact, he's probably had more of an impact than Dowman has had. That's not comparing the two. They're two different players, and they're also very, very young men. But Rio Ngamoa does deserve a lot more discussion,
100%.
I think.
But when you look at our options, and you look at, say, the left-hand side, Eze can play there, Rashford, Gordon.
Yeah, but are any of those players making such a massive impact at the moment that you think, I've got to take them? You've got so many of those. Is it not a good idea to have a random wild card?
26 players, 100%. But I just don't see the manager who didn't bring him into the last squad picking him. Maybe, Sam, if the last 6 Premier League games you can get starts, and he's getting starts under his belt, not coming on off the bench. But I just look at this Liverpool side, lads, and like you might say they've done better against PSG, but like Cookie said, it's a low bar. First half, they were poor. PSG were in first gear. When PSG decided to go and score, they went and scored 2 goals. And I look at Frimpong, that's a signing that hasn't worked. He's not good defensively, and he's not good going forward.
It's amazing, isn't it, the downgrade of the 2 full-back areas after last year.
Yeah, I'd still back Kirkes to come good. I saw enough at Bournemouth to suggest there's a player in there, and I'm surprised with his personality how much he seems to have struggled with the weight of that Liverpool shirt. But then it's been a season of struggle for his more established teammates as well. It's a huge summer, isn't it? We reported yesterday that Richard Hughes, the sporting director, is going to stay despite interest from Al Hilal over in Saudi Arabia. But they need a lot of players, and I'm just seeing there, Joe Gomez is injured again. You can't rely on him to stay fit. Do they move on from Alexis McAllister, who's in the last 2 years of his contracts? Curtis Jones, I think, was keen to move to Inter Milan in January. Does that rear its head again? What do they do to replace Mo Salah and Andy Robertson? These are big decisions that
Ekitike out now for probably 9 to 12 months.
Yeah, and when is he going to be fit for next season?
Exactly. And Isak, has had injury problems, hasn't he, during his career, especially at Newcastle. So you can't rely on him. Exactly.
Dreadful.
Adam Wharton, a name mentioned to me this morning. We know there's a lot of interest in him for the summer, and Liverpool, one of the clubs apparently in the mix.
I couldn't understand, actually, and we had this discussion actually during the week, why they didn't go for a number 6 this summer, because that was clearly an area that they were putting a sticking plaster over.
Gravenberch did so well, though, didn't he?
He did well, but that's not his position. It wasn't why they bought him. So the idea that they used him as a sticking plaster for a season and it worked, are we then sort of saying from then on he's going to be that player?
And he's not been the same this season. And what summed Gravenberch up was Kvaratskhelia goal away to PSG. Just watches him and doesn't track him, runs straight past him. If you're playing that defensive midfielder role, you've got to follow that run. He's not done it all season.
Thank you very much for your contribution today. Well done.
Thank you, Crookie. Thank you for.
You've got a train to catch. You're finishing early.
Yeah, Sam, have you got somewhere to be, mate? Is that bike outside? Where
I'm off again. No, I just wanted, before we go, to read you a text message from Guy in Swindon, who says, "Hi, it's Guy. Just want to say, can Sam and Gabby lay off my fellow Manchester United supporting Crookie? He's got more knowledge about football than you two put together." And you're absolutely right about that, by the way.
Still learning.
Because me and Gabby spend most of our time feeding him lots of information, usually during the breaks, in which he then regurgitates it and passes it off as his own.
That is outrageous.
For example, the last conversation we had about Bournemouth, we'd just had that conversation between the two of us, and then he used it as his own.
But what I will say,
You don't
Sam,
think I know what's going on down at Bournemouth?
Sam, but what I will say is that a lovely guy who looked after us yesterday, Crookie, Steve Jones, when I first got there, I says, Crookie's work, and he says, can we get Crookie up? He's had a fantastic 12 months. Yes. Really big fan of Alex.
He should win an award, actually, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
You think he will?
He's the only one that's nominated in that award. Is there anyone else nominated, Crookie? Or?
I tell you what, it's a tough category this year.
All right, Mikel.
And I didn't win it last year.
All right, Mikel.
I won't choke, though.
Oh, you bottled it last year,
I
didn't you?
promise I won't choke. I'm going to go on the front
Are you
foot.
actually going to go this week?
I'm going to be
so
there.
Basically,
You're not, are you?
No, I'm not going. I'm going to Manchester United versus Brentford. I'm very happy. I'm very privileged to be nominated in that category, but it is Manchester United versus Brentford.
Yeah. You normally know if you're going to win where your table is. Are you close to the stage, or you're at the back?
This is the SJA Awards, and they've moved the venue, so it's quite a prestigious venue. Apparently, it's haunted by Bruce Forsyth.
Oh, so
find out where you sit in, mate.
There's no tables; it's just rows of seats.
Yeah.
Is that because last time you stormed out halfway through?
I can't leave this time. This show's nominated as well, isn't it? 10 till 1.
This show is nominated as well. So good luck to everyone.
Fridays.
Gabby, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much for listening. We do appreciate it. And cheers for all your messages as well. This is talkSPORT. H&J next.
Maguire in a bit of trouble, or his mouth has got him in a bit of trouble. Simon, the Manchester United defender, of course, now hit with a one-game suspension. He misses the match for United at Chelsea on Saturday. The FA ruled that he swore at the fourth official, Matt Donoghue, following his sending off at Bournemouth last month. Maguire missed Monday's defeat to Leeds, serving the suspension for that red card, but he'll now be banned for an additional game.